This season, the American League has welcomed a new kid to the block. The Tampa Bay Devil Rays. No ordinary expansion team. Tampa Bay sports a crime dog in Fred McGriff. And last weekend, they took a bite out of the Anaheim Angels. Yes, these Rays pack a sting. For the Anaheim Angels, they have found a base hit bonanza in first baseman Darren Erstad. Darren has started the season with hits in 17 of 19 games, and the Angels hope the hits just keep on a-coming. It's the Anaheim Angels and the Tampa Bay Devil Rays. Major League Baseball is next on KCAL 9. Welcome to Tropicana Field in St. Petersburg, Florida for Major League Baseball on KCAL 9. Tonight, it's the Anaheim Angels and the Tampa Bay Devil Rays. And hi, everybody. I'm Steve Physiak. This is Jerry Royce. The Angels leave Anaheim to Tampa, also to Baltimore, and then to Boston without their best offensive gun, Tim Salmon, still being bothered by a left foot problem. And they come to Tampa Bay taking on a team that really does not look like an expansion team, Jerry. They are very talented.
Yes, they are, Steve. They've already won 11 games, which is more than any expansion team has won in Major League Baseball history. And they've done it in every major department in the American League. They're in the top 3 in hitting, they're in the top 3 in defense, and the top 3 in pitching. So when you look inside the numbers, you can understand why they're playing so well in this month of April.
And one of the reasons that the top 3 in pitching is Wilson Alvarez has just been marvelous and really beat the Angels last week.
Yes, he has. Wilson Alvarez has always had a history of being outstanding in April, an earned run average of .295. He's already beaten the Angels once this year. You see Alvarez warming up down in the bullpen. He's got a fastball and a breaking ball, and he's finally putting things together. Now, Alan Watson, of course, has had a tough April. He's lost 2 games already this year, and you can see that he has a history of struggling coming out of the gates from spring training. 1-3 last year, but he went on to win 12 games last year. And when you get that kind of production from a number 4 starter in this day and age of baseball, it's somebody special.
Well, they'll need to pitch well because 23 home runs have already been hit in 8 games at Tropicana. It comes your way next on KCAL 9. Anaheim Angels baseball on KCAL 9 is brought to you by Edison International, the power behind peace of mind. By your Southern California Toyota dealers. Test drive a 98 Toyota at your local Toyota dealer. Buy or lease. You can count on a Toyota every day. By Carl's Jr. If it doesn't get all over the place, it doesn't belong in your face. And by your Southern California Ford dealers. See your Ford dealer today.
It's Ford Spring Break 98. Remember the sun? Well, it's coming back. El Nino is on the way out, and Ford is celebrating with their very own Spring Break. Great lease deals, special incentives, or APRs as low as 1.9 on the Mustang convertible, the Red Hot ZX2, even the Windstar, and the #1 selling Explorer. It's Ford Spring Break 98 going on right now. With APRs as low as 1.9, even Ford dealers get spring fever.
Can you picture yourself in paradise? Tonight you can. When Prime 9 News, Sandals, and Air Jamaica give you a chance to fly away in May to the tropical sands of Jamaica. To win a complete trip for 2, watch Prime 9 News' Alan Mazengale at 8:45 to get the clues. Then be the 9th correct caller at 9:45. And you can fly away in May to paradise with Sandals, Air Jamaica, and KCAL's Prime 9 News.
Come on, let's go faster, faster. He's really driving us. He's killing us. I'm pulling away from you. It helps, though. I don't think I could do it on my own. I know. This is the longest I've ever stuck with a workout program. Well, they say motivation is the key. You can do it. Come on, you bunch of marshmallows. I don't see any sweat.
No wonder you can never get a bike around here.
This is what you're working for.
Welcome back to Tropicana Field in St. Petersburg, Florida, where the Anaheim Angels start tonight with a record of 9-10. And here's a look at the lineup that Terry Collins took to home plate. Darren Erstad will lead things off. He'll be followed by Jim Edmonds. Then it is Dave Hollins, the third baseman. Cecil Fielder will bat fourth. Then the catcher, Phil Nevin. Batting in left field is Garrett Anderson. Damon Mayshore will take over for Tim Salmon in right field. Norberto Martin is tonight's second baseman, and Gary DiSarcina will bat ninth.
Wilson Alvarez gets the start tonight for Tampa Bay. Alvarez, a good fastball, sometimes over 90 miles per hour. An overhand curve when he gets that pitch over, Steve. He's as tough as anybody. He also has a changeup, but something new this year. He's using a cut fastball to finish hitters off, particularly right-handers on that inside part of the plate. The numbers overall for Alvarez, you saw a 3-1, and as we mentioned at the top of the show, he pitches extremely well in April. I thought last year he was really coming into his own with the White Sox. Even though his record was just 9-8, his walks were down, his strikeouts were up, and he was giving a lot of games, getting into a lot of games into the 7th and 8th inning. But then, boom, on July 31st, it was Jerry Reinsdorf who issued the edict to trade some of the players whose contracts were up. Alvarez was one of those, and off he went to San Francisco.
And now he signs a $35 million contract to play with the expansion Devil Rays, and defensively they have been very good behind him. Third best defense in the American League with only 11 errors. McCracken leads all outfielders in the American League with 4 assists already. Stocker is solid at short. Cairo has great range at second base. Bobby Smith taking over for the injured Wade Boggs at third. And the veteran Fred McGriff is the first baseman. John Flaherty is the catcher. There's Kevin Stocker. Larry Rothschild said he is as good as it gets at short. He's so efficient, a lot like the Angels' Gary DiSarcina is what Rothschild said.
And it's especially important here because of this fast AstroTurf infield. You'll notice that there's a skinned infield part, much like the Astrodome and Busch Stadium in St. Louis, the way they were back in the early 70s. And Rothschild also told us that that ball gets through there rather quickly. So you have to be strong up the middle if you're going to be successful. With Cairo and Stocker, you've got that. McCracken in center field can run them down with the best of them.
Well, Alvarez will start with Wednesday's hitting hero, Darren Erstad. A pair of hits, including a 2-run homer that beat the Baltimore Orioles in the 8th inning. And he smacks this one up the middle for a base hit. So Darren Erstad is now hit in 18 of the season's first 20 games.
It's amazing that he learns as quick as he does. Last year, thrust into the leadoff role. His on-base percentage was about 3.20, which is somewhat low for a leadoff hitter. But this year, we've talked about the fact that he hasn't hit in just but 2 games. And you consider the fact that you have a guy like that, Erstad, who can run at the top of the lineup. This guy has come from nowhere as a number 3 hitter to be a pretty successful number 1 hitter.
And now Jim Edmonds, who is back in the lineup. You might remember he suffered a right wrist problem in a catch he made against Tampa Bay earlier this year. And he missed 4 games because of it. He's back in the lineup tonight. And Erstad at first base has stolen 5 bases. With Tim Salmon not in here tonight, it takes some of the power away. Do you think Terry Collins will be even more aggressive?
Well, this team in the recent games that they played in Anaheim Stadium had trouble getting the big hit with a runner on base. I wouldn't be surprised to see Collins try to get some of the runners who get on base early in the ball game go with a pitch.
Jerry, what kind of move does Wilson Alvarez have?
Inconsistent. He has a high leg kick, and he has it's a fair move over to first base, but he takes a lot of time delivering his pitch to home plate.
And John Flaherty only threw out 22% of base runners trying to steal against him with San Diego last year.
That was close to a balk. And that's the best move you're going to see from Wilson Alvarez. He had his weight going forward, but he was able to get that leg out in time. So it didn't cross that imaginary line in the opinion of first base umpire. That could have been called a balk. Erstad inching away. He's got a lead like he would be stealing.
He does not go, and the pitch misses away to Jim Edmonds. 1 ball, 1 strike.
One of the things that Collins complained about in the early going with his ball club is that he hasn't been able to utilize that running game. When the Angels have run, they've been quite successful. 10 of 13 in stolen base attempts.
Well, slide step, and Edmonds slams it in the gap, and that will roll all the way to the wall. This will score Erstad easily, and Edmonds comes to second base. It's 1-0 Anaheim. It's interesting watching Wilson Alvarez with the slide step. I don't think he had enough movement on his pitch as he came to home plate.
A lot of times when pitchers use that slide step, it doesn't allow them to finish off a pitch. Look at the location of this pitch. Edmonds, a good high ball hitter, gets a fastball just below the belt, and he deposits it out in right center field. McCracken, though he has good speed, isn't going to catch up with it. Erstad, with his good speed, comes around to score the first run of the ballgame. So it's the Angels who strike early on this road trip.
And that is a good sign when your big gun is probably at home laying on a couch wishing he was here. Tim Salmon, again, not with the ball club. Now hitting in the 3 spot is Dave Hollins. Very strong from the right side, and his overall average this year only .212, but hitting right-handed right at 300. So the Angels strike first, 1-0. Tim Salmon, meantime, will be re-examined on Monday. Tuesday would be the earliest the Angels could get Tim back. There's Alvarez with that changeup and a dandy for a strike. He's in front of Hollins, 0-2. This is also Dave's power side. Both of his home runs this year have come hitting right-handed. And a good pitch on the outside corner to Hollins. There's the first out of the first inning.
Alvarez took something off that last pitch. It looked like a BP fastball, but it had a little tail to the outside part of the plate. What he did so well last year in the times that we saw him was he was able to pitch inside, both for effect and for strikes. But if you can manage both sides of the plate as a pitcher, then you're going to have things go your way.
Well, here is Cecil Fielder. On Tuesday, he hit his first Angels home run. It came off Baltimore's Doug Johns. And immediately Alvarez comes inside to Cecil Fielder, and really that's where you have to pitch the big guy.
Yeah, but you have to pitch him inside with qualifications. You got to get it up around the belt, because if you get it down and over the plate a little bit, he'll lose it.
They set up inside. The pitch again comes inside. Alvarez misses. 2 balls and no strikes.
But when you hit as many as 50 home runs in a season, you hit a lot of pitches. Whether they're low and inside, they're low and away, some are up. You see that he's had some kind of success against Alvarez career-wise. 10 hits, 27 at bats. So it's not as if they're strangers.
3 balls, no strikes. Well, you've got Cecil Fielder right now. Phil Nevin is waiting on deck, and there's Larry Rothschild, the young first-year manager of the Devil Rays. He has a couple of world championship rings in his past, though. He was the bullpen coach for Lou Pinella's Cincinnati Reds in 1990, and of course the pitching coach last year for Jim Leyland's Marlins. And he walks Cecil Fielder on 4 pitches. So Alvarez has given up a base hit to Erstad, a double to Edmonds to score the Angels' first run. Hollins strikes out. Now Cecil Fielder walks on 4 pitches, and that leaves it up to Phil Nevin.
You know, we're only in the first inning, and already it's a key situation in the ballgame. The Angels have put 1 on the board. They've got Nevin up there, who's already grounded into a couple of double plays this year. Now, if you're Rothschild, you're thinking perhaps we get a double play and get out of this and come in and score some.
There's a chopper up the middle. Waiting for it is Stocker. His only play is first base, so the runners do move up. Fielder to second base, Edmonds to third base, but 2 outs for Garrett Anderson.
But to finish that thought, if you're Terry Collins, you're hoping that somehow Nevin would not hit into a double play so that he can keep the inning alive with a chance of scoring more runs. But it's a best case scenario if he can drive in a couple so that the Angels can put a big cushion out there for Alan Watson, who struggled in the early going this year.
And Wilson Alvarez was outstanding in his last game, beating the Angels on Saturday 6-1. Here's Garrett Anderson. Low and outside to Garrett. Anderson still looking for his first home run. There's Watson ready. He's warming up in the Angels bullpen for a good 15 minutes. Was out early today. He is focused. That ball gets away. Here comes Edmonds, and he will score. And the Angels take a 2-0 lead.
Flaherty, who normally is such a great defensive catcher, tries to block this pitch, but he can't keep it in front of him. Instead of using his body, he tries to catch it with his glove. It hits on the heel of the glove, and it gets far enough away from him that Edmonds, the runner at first or third base, gets a pretty good read on it, comes home uncontested. So the Angels, by not having or Nevin hit into a double play, keep this inning alive and put another run on the board.
And Garrett Anderson, with a clutch 2-out base hit, could give them a 3-0 lead with Fielder now at third base. Edmonds coming home on the wild pitch. Anaheim taking a 2-0 lead. Garrett takes outside. Now 3 balls, 1 strike. A right-handed swinging Damon Mayshore will be next. He's the fellow who's filling in for Tim Salmon. There's Fielder. Walk went to second in the ground ball. To third on the wild pitch. And now Anderson walks, and Alvarez with a pair of walks in this inning already. And here's a guy who has great stuff. But even last year, Jerry, he walked 91 batters in just over 200 innings.
Many of those walks came with the Giants. And I had mentioned the fact that, you know, with the White Sox, he had kept the number of walks down, and I thought that was the turning point for him. But a bout of wildness. I don't think he walked Fielder intentionally. He just pitched around him with the base open. But I think that walk to Anderson is something that hurts because you're going up against a left-hander. And Alvarez does pretty good against left-handed batters.
Hitting 7th, the right fielder, number 22, Damon Mayshore.
So Wilson Alvarez will now toe the rubber against Damon Mayshore, who had a pair of hits after he took over for Tim Salmon. Salmon had hit the home run, and as he was rounding first base, felt something pull in his left foot, and he had to come out. Mayshore went in right field and played very well. Damon takes strike 1 at the knees. Mayshore now 28 years of age. He was born in Puerto Rico. His father, Clyde Mayshore, played in the big leagues and was playing winter ball down there when Damon was born. He went around. Is that cut fastball?
Could be. That one had a little more juice on it because it was up, maybe a little bit out of the strike zone. Whatever it was, Mayshore liked what he saw, but he couldn't hold up on it.
Let's see if Wilson tries to tease him low and away. No, they're going to jam him inside again. Damon fouls it off. Cecil Fielder at third base. The Angels have already scored 2 runs in this first inning on a double by Jim Edmonds that scored Darren Erstad, and the wild pitch that got Edmonds home. Anderson at first. Damon swings, and there's a base hit right field. Fielder comes home, and Anaheim takes a 3-0 lead over Tampa Bay.
Second base, number 7.
Nice job of hitting by Damon Mayshore. He got 2 quick strikes on him. Look at the location of this pitch. It's out over the plate, doesn't have a whole lot on it. Mayshore is able to make enough contact to drive this ball into right field. Anderson gets a good read on it. He's able to advance. Cecil comes home, so the Angels put 3 on the board in the first.
So very good clutch 2-out hitting, something the Angels have not sparkled at this year. And here's Norberto Martin. Angels this year only hitting .151 with 2 out and men in scoring position. They've got another there in Garrett Anderson after Mayshore came through. Paco Martin is hitting .231. Fouls it off. Ball a strike with 2 outs in the first inning. Anaheim has scored 3 very quickly against the Devil Rays. This was a team, Jerry, that took 3 of 4 in impressive fashion. particularly Alvarez, giving up just 1 run in the Saturday victory, and then Rolando Araujo shutting out the Angels on Sunday. Martin takes inside, 2-1.
And if you want to add Chuck Finley's shutout to the mix, there were 3 pretty good pitch ball games in that series.
Chuck Finley was brilliant against Tampa Bay with the shutout. He still has that 13-game win streak intact. Alvarez knows how to pitch Paco. They were teammates together with the Chicago White Sox last year. Just does miss. 3 balls, 1 strike. So Alvarez a pitch away from loading the bases and working against Gary DiSarcina.
He's not pitching aggressively, is he? He's pitching as if he doesn't want the hitters to hit the ball, rather than just saying, here it comes, see what you can do with it.
And Martin does something with it down the right field line, and that is foul. That would have easily scored 2. Instead, Paco comes back to the plate with the count 3 balls and 2 strikes. Anderson would have scored easily from second base, and Mayshore got a great jump from first, and he was right on Garrett's heels.
Mayshore with that good speed with that ball down in the right field corner, he would have brought 2 runs in.
So they'll try it again, 3-2. You know who is here tonight? Sandy Koufax, a friend of Terry Collins, came to visit with TC and also with Frank Howard. The 3 are very, very good friends. And it was Sandy who made the comment, I became a good pitcher when I stopped trying to throw pitches that the guys would miss and started throwing my pitches and have them hit the baseball. Let them get themselves out. Of course, with his stuff, you can throw it right down the middle, and they're going to be difficult challenge to work against him. Look who's up, Dan Carlson, as Tampa Bay already has their bullpen busy in this first inning, as Alvarez has faced 7 Angels already in the opening inning. Martin fouls it off again, stays 3-2.
But with Koufax, he achieved the exact result he wanted by just challenging the hitters, and that's not what we've seen so far from Wilson Alvarez.
I mean, you've got to locate your pitches, particularly down in the strike zone, or really work a guy up and in like you were talking with Cecil Fielder, jam him above the belt. But as you said, it seems like Alvarez is throwing pitches to try and make them swing and miss. 2 on, 2 out. Runners go, and it's fouled again. So Paco is fighting this at bat against Wilson Alvarez. John Flaherty has had a first inning workout. The Angels, Jerry, have scored in the first inning in only 6 of 20 games this year. So 3 runs in this contest is already a season high. Martin again skies it towards right field, but racing back and pulling it in is Jerome Walton. So Wilson Alvarez gives up 3. Could have been more if Walton doesn't run down the line smashed by Paco Martin. And here comes Alan Watson.
Anyone can play a Saturn. I can guarantee you that. I can get any sound I could get with my congas, my bongos, whatever. I can get them everywhere on that car. Polymer, can't you say that? Polymer panel. You can play anything on that car. It just depends where you hit it. No dents, no things, no nothing. The Saturn is a rhythm machine. Don't you forget it.
Closed captioning of Angels baseball is brought to you by
Yo, down here.
I'm the Brooklyn Bridge. You think you could take me? You want a piece of me, huh? Let's go. You and me. Right now.
The undeniably smooth, ever luxurious ES300. The road is calling. Answer it.
I got your fancy suspension right here.
Shortstop, Gary DiSarcina.
Anaheim with a season-high 3 runs in the first inning this year. And they've taken the lead on Tampa Bay. Let's check out the Devil Rays lineup as sent to home plate by Larry Rothschild. Quentin McCracken has been outstanding this year, hitting .367. Then it is Miguel Cairo, followed by Jerome Walton. Batting fourth will be the first baseman Fred McGriff. Then at third base, it's Bobby Smith. In the 6th spot, the designated hitter Paul Sorrento. The left fielder Mike Kelly will follow. Then it's John Flaherty hitting 8th. And the shortstop Kevin Stocker bats 9th.
Alan Watson was the recipient of that 3-run outburst for the Angels in the top of the 1st. Watson started 5 days ago against these same Tampa Bay Devil Rays. In that ball game, he went 4 1/3 innings, gave up 6 runs on 8 hits, striking out 3 and walking 1. These numbers are similar to what we saw last year in April with Watson in his first year as a member of the Angels. But he went on to win 12 ball games. And when you have a number 4 or 5 starter give you that kind of production, you know that this is just something to build on. But still, Watson, knowing that he has problems early in the season, took every precaution possible this winter so that he could get off to a good start. So much, in fact, that he lost 17 pounds before coming to spring training, thinking that was somehow going to help him.
Terry Collins said he wants a solid 7 innings from Alan Watson tonight. He got 2 great innings against Tampa Bay, and Alan was saying he was throwing very good fastballs. Then he started getting a little too cute with his changeup and got rocked, and consequently lost the baseball game. But he is a solid starter, now 27 years of age, from New York City. And the left-hander brings it, and McCracken fouls it off. This McCracken has been like Erstad as a leadoff guy. He, too, has hit in 17 of his first 19 games this year.
But McCracken's more of a traditional leadoff type hitter because he's got explosive speed, and he's been groomed as a leadoff hitter from the time he signed his first professional contract. That's not true of Erstad. Erstad's going to be a number 3 hitter one day and probably be one of the best in baseball.
Great pitch by Alan Watson, and he strikes out Quentin McCracken. A good sign is Watson keeping the ball down in the zone against their leadoff man. The Angels defensively, Hollins, DiSarcina, and Erstad have been outstanding on the infield. Hollins 1 error, DiSarcina 1 error. Erstad has not made an error, and Martinez only made 2. And Anderson, Edmonds, and Mayshore have good speed. Nevin to catch Alan Watson. There's Damon Mayshore filling the heels of Tim Salmon, not with the team until at least Tuesday. That ball sharply struck. Base hit off the glove of Gary DiSarcina, and Miguel Cairo is on.
That ground ball took 1 hop on this turf, and you know it's going to jump off that turf. But something that's probably surprising to the Angels infielders is that the dirt portion of this infield is fast as well.
This is that Omni turf, isn't it?
Yeah, a lot different. It's a lot harder, and the ball just scoots through there. A lot of times you'll see DiSarcina suck that ball up with a backhand grab, but he couldn't quite get to it. It's off his glove and into left field.
But Tampa and Seattle have the AstroTurfs, and you got to get used to it. Angels were playing on nothing but the natural stuff this year, and it'll slow that ball down. Cairo did hit it well, and here is Jerome Walton. Tampa Bay has been a hit machine. Yesterday they beat the Texas Rangers, the first place team in the American League West, 12-5 at the ballpark in Arlington. 12 runs on 16 hits.
It's a good mix of veteran ball players and young ball players. So Chuck Lamar, who's the general manager of this ball club, did his homework.
Good changeup by Alan Watson. That evens the count at 1 ball and 1 strike with a man out in this first inning. You're right. I mean, they went out and they also got some Tampa guys like Sorrento, like Boggs. I mean, those are guys who wanted to play here. And the mix of some high-priced free agents, Roberto Hernandez, Wilson Alvarez, and some youngsters like Miguel Cairo, who is at first base right now. Watson has a very good move, does not go to first, and the ball is fouled off.
Well, one thing that you have to note about this ball club is that defensively they're strong up the middle. Stocker solid defensively. Cairo's got probably as much range as anybody we've seen. McCracken, from his days in AAA ball when I saw him in Las Vegas, can get him with the best of them. And Flaherty frames pitches well, and he calls a pretty good game, so you're strong up the middle for your basis of your ball club. And you talked about the mix of local ball players and guys who are also veteran ball players who have been champions. When you put that together with young ball players and you put them on the field for the first time, it seems to be a chemistry that has done this ball club well.
They're already setting expansion records. Tampa's 11 wins past the old April record set by the 1977 Toronto Blue Jays and the 93 Marlins. And I don't think Miguel Gairo has still seen the good move of Alan Watson. He's just trying to shorten up the lead. Watson had 10 pickoffs last year. Chopped foul. Nevin very quickly up at the baseball just to make sure they wouldn't call it off the plate. If they had, he's got a double play easily.
The reason why Watson is able to freeze the runner, there's a couple of reasons why, and something we didn't show you in that replay was the fact that he held on to the ball and he didn't have the same count before he delivered it to the plate. What that causes the base runner to do is relax a bit and get on his heels, so you can't get a good jump off a guy. But he also was slow delivering the pitch, a slight pause before the delivery home, and you can't get a read on a left-hander when he does those different things. So a lot of tricks of the trade used by Alan Watson against Cairo, the runner at first.
Uses the slide step, comes inside. Pretty pitch by Alan Watson to Jerome Walton for strike 3. So a pair of Ks in this first inning by the Angels left-hander.
Wilson Alvarez tried that slide step to Jimmy Edmonds, but he left the pitch out over the plate. Edmonds whacked it into the gap, and it brought around the Angels' first run. For Alan Watson, he set that pitch up well with a couple of change-ups to the outside part of the plate, uses the slide step toward home plate, is able to sneak a fastball by a pretty good fastball hitter in Jerome Walton.
And here comes a very good fastball hitter in Fred McGriff. Fred has 2 home runs this year with 15 RBI, so he has been their Mr. Clutch. And here's one of the veterans they acquired, and a star veteran in his past, a former All-Star and a world champion with the Atlanta Braves. Cairo remains at first base. Angels leading 3-0. And Fred rips it high, deep to right field, and way out of here.
McGriff, like so many left-handed batters in the major leagues, becomes a better high ball hitter against a left-handed pitcher. Let's check out the location of this pitch. Fastball, he tried to get it to the outside part of the plate, but it stays over the heart. And this is why McGriff is such a feared power hitter. He's able to extend those hands, get the bad head out. That ball didn't just sneak out of here. It's about 30-40 rows back in right field.
In the air to right field. Bobby Smith is out, but Fred McGriff goes deep. Fred McGriff hitting .486 coming to his hometown of Tampa Bay, and it's Anaheim holding on to a 3-2 lead over the Devil Rays.
What is it about leather? You need beautiful lines to pull it off. Meet the limited edition Mazda 626. Now in leather. Luxuriously loaded at just $239 a month. It's time to get into leather. Lease a Mazda 626 leather edition for just $239 a month, but only for a limited time.
Honey, I gotta go to work.
To the men and women at Edison, protecting your service from natural disasters is more than just a job.
Don't worry, we'll save Daddy a seat.
It's a commitment that weathers hardship, hard work, and hard choices.
I'm scared.
Yeah, we got lights.
Southern California Edison, the power behind peace of mind.
If you believe it's not just where you're going in life, it's how you get there. Get to the California Chrysler and Plymouth event. Right now, get $750 cash back on the lowest priced minivan, Plymouth Voyager. Choose any minivan and get 1.9% APR. There's Plymouth Neon for just $198 a month, or get $1,500 cash back. Get to the California Chrysler and Plymouth event at your California Chrysler and Plymouth dealer. Hurry, this event ends soon.
We go to the second inning in Tampa Bay. The Angels with a 3-2 lead over the Devil Rays. And now Wilson Alvarez gets ready for his second inning of work. He struggled through that first, and he comes inside, and he hits Gary DiSarcina. So Wilson continues his very difficult beginning in this game. Gave him 3 runs in the first, and he starts by hitting Gary DiSarcina to open number 2.
Tried to get that fastball inside. That pitch might have been the cutter that Alvarez has come up with this year. But instead of establishing inside, he puts the number 9 hitter in the lineup on first base for probably the hottest hitter on the Angels in the person of Darren Erstad.
Erstad singled his first time up and scored in the double by Jim Edmonds. There's a strike. Erstad leads the Angels in batting with hits, steals. I mean, the guy's got speed and power. He's got 5 home runs, second to Tim Salmon in the club. And he has a man on with nobody out, and Gary DiSarcina to start this second inning. You were talking about Erstad eventually being a number 3 hitter. Why do you say that rather than a leadoff?
I think the wear and tear on a guy who is the leadoff hitter, if he doesn't have a great deal of speed and doesn't steal a lot of bases, will eventually come to show in the numbers that a guy can produce.
And he hits Erstad now. So back-to-back Angels are hitting DiSarcina and Erstad. Erstad's the kind of kid who's just not even going to rub it. He takes his gloves off now, but George Hendrick, the first base coach, is checking him.
Once more to look at this pitch. It's not a cutter, and Erstad's not a left-handed batter who likes to dive out over the plate. He's pretty much straight at the pitcher. So Alvarez, unless there's something else going on, is in an attempt to try to pitch inside to the first 2 Angel hitters. Has hit them both, and he's getting himself in a bit of trouble. It's going to bring the pitching coach out to talk to his starter tonight. No, but to finish that thought about Erstad as a leadoff hitter, he will probably be best as a number 3 hitter because he has a potential for power and a high average. If you're expected to steal bases and be the front part of a hit and run, that creates a great deal of wear and tear over a 162-game season. And you have to be built more for speed and more for scoring runs if that's the case. There are exceptions to the rule, and Bobby Bonds is the first that comes to mind.
But for the second straight inning now, Jerry, the bullpen for Tampa Bay is busy. That is the right-hander Dan Carlson, who was up in the first. Now Jim Edmonds taking the breaking ball low and away. He holds ball 1. Alvarez giving the Angels another chance to have a big inning. And in the last 12 games, Jim Edmonds has been hot. He takes a strike. 1 ball, 1 strike. One thing I noticed when Jim came back from his injury, he was very patient hitter in his last game, and played very well in the Angels' victory. Big one it was, by a run over the Baltimore Orioles.
And there might be a reason for that patience, because if you have a sore wrist, it doesn't hurt when you swing and hit the ball. It hurts when you swing and miss the pitch. So it forces you to be a bit more selective.
Swing at strikes.
And make sure you hit them.
He did his first time and doubled into the right center field gap, driving in Darren Erstad. Edmonds fouls it off. Ball and 2 strikes. Alvarez lost his control in the first inning, walking 2, and really has lost it here in the second, hitting that man Gary DiSarcina and then that man Darren Erstad. So 2 on with nobody out. Angels already leading by a run. Wilson's really laboring. I mean, he's taking a lot of time in between pitches.
And that's because you second guess yourself out there. See, he wanted to bring that pitch inside, but the last 2 times he came inside on a batter, he hit them both. So there's that little bit of hesitation. You lose confidence in your ability to throw the pitch where you want. You lose confidence in your stuff, and before you know it, you're a couple of runs down.
Three balls and 2 strikes. I mean, Wilson has had 3 straight excellent ball games against the White Sox, again against Chicago, and then the Angels this past weekend. But he started the season very poorly in Tampa Bay's opener against Detroit, and they blasted him around for 6 runs in just 2 1/3 innings. Two on, nobody out. Second inning, the Angels leading 3-2. The runners go, and the pitch is outside and low, ball 4. The bases are loaded, and here comes Dave Hollins. 3 walks in this game by Wilson Alvarez. 2 batters have been hit, and here comes Larry Rothschild. Well, Alvarez, the first career start, he faced 5 hitters. All of them reached base. It was a terrible game back in 1989 at the age of 19. And I remember Tony Fernandez in that game got a big double in the contest, and he said, I hated to get it off him because we need more kids playing in the big leagues from Latin America, and you want to see this kid do well. He did later with a no-hitter. Live.
Fire still raging out of control.
Local. City officials tell KCAL 9 late breaking.
KCAL 9 was the first to report.
KCAL's Prime 9 news team. Our crews are on the scene. Southern California's leader for news and prime time.
Sources tell KCAL 9.
First, with the information you need.
We'll have team coverage.
Convenient because we're there when you can watch.
Sky 9 is over that accident.
Reporting live from the scene. Live, local, late breaking. Prime 9 News. KCAL TV tonight.
Hey, how are little people doing today?
Just having the Sicilian from Pizza Hut, Mr. Porter.
Yeah, well, how about a slice?
You know, sir, you can't handle the Sicilian. Being a shallow corporate raider can't prepare you for garlic, basil, and oregano or the blast of cheese, herb, seasoning that explodes in every morsel.
Napkin. Introducing the Sicilian pizza from Pizza Hut, the mother of all pizzas, just $8.99.
I hope I wasn't out of line with that shallow corporate raider crack.
The Sicilian pizza from Pizza Hut. Can you handle it?
We would like to invite your questions and comments to our KCAL 9 website. Our address is kcalsports.com. We may answer some of your questions during our telecast. Our address again is kcalsports.com. Wilson Alvarez leaving the field not pleased at all, as he did not have it tonight. Walked 3, hit 2, and gave up 3 runs so far because Dan Carlson comes out of the bullpen. Ooh. Wilson is steamed. The 3 stellar performances. He has struggled, and Carlson comes out of the pen with the bases full of halos and nobody out. Here's Dave Hollins. Strike 1.
Carlson's out of the Giants organization, spent a couple of years with them. Has no record this year. He's making his 7th appearance of the season. Good strikeout numbers, but he's walked 6 and given up 15 hits, so consider he's done a lot of work in those first 10 1/3 innings that he's thrown. But he's got a full plate ahead of him, doesn't he? The bases are loaded with Angels and nobody out. 2 good curveballs, though.
I'll say. Dave Hollins has to be thinking, why me? He's got DiSarcina at third. Second base, Erstad. Great speed there. And Jim Edmonds at first base. So Carlson comes in, immediately throws 2 great breaking pitches. And that brings another hook, and it's fouled off Flaherty. And Dave's got to be thinking, when are they going to see his fastball?
You would expect to see 3 consecutive curveballs, and all of them out of that same slot and seemingly the same speed.
He swings and misses at the high, hard one. Hollins strikes out. So it's up to Cecil Fielder to get that man off the hook, allowing 3 runs in 2 innings.
The ability to throw your pitches over the plate puts the batter in a hole, and it forces Hollins to go after pitches that normally he wouldn't. That pitch way out of the strike zone, but Hollins with 2 strikes feels he has to protect the plate. So it's a big out for Carlson.
And now Cecil Fielder walking his first time up, later scoring. Angels with a great opportunity and do not want to squander it. This is what happened on Sunday. Anaheim had the bases loaded against Tampa Bay with Rolando Araujo and let him off the hook. They did not score with a bases loaded, no out situation. And Araujo settled down and went on to shut them out.
You know, we've talked so many times about setting the stage for a player who delivers in the clutch so much like Cecil Fielder has done over the years. Just 1 home run this year as we take a look at the runners on base for the Angels. What a perfect spot for him to break out of this slump.
Good breaking ball. Carlson has just come out of the bullpen and thrown nothing but perfect pitches.
He's reaching back for something less. He has a good fastball, but he's able to get his off-speed pitches over to stay ahead of the Angel hitters. And the 2 he's faced, he's got in the hole.
There's a ground ball. Could be 2. Cairo turns it, and the double play. Perfectly done. Bases loaded, nobody out, and Larry Rothschild and Wilson Alvarez get a beauty from Dan Carlson.
And now, for a little FaceTime with the future of the luxury car. There have never been any other cars in the world quite like the new Lincolns. Today, and especially tomorrow. Lincoln, what a luxury car should be.
Come on, Pig. Better. Throw it home. Mom! Dinner! I'll come in a minute. You don't come in right now. Oh, none of the other moms are coming in. Mom, it's KFC. Gotta go.
This Mother's Day, give Mom more time to play. Bring home 12 pieces of the Colonel's chicken, original recipe, extra tasty, crispy, or tender roast, just $10.99.
If you clean your plate, you can go out after dinner.
Mother's Day. Isn't it time for some really good chicken?
Over 100 years ago, the first football helmet was introduced. Then came the batting helmet. Almost 30 years later, the hockey helmet. And now the world's first automotive head protection system, designed to help protect the driver and front seat passenger during side impact collisions. After all, shouldn't you be as protected on the road as an athlete is on the field? See the only automotive head protection system at your Southern California BMW Center.
Anaheim Angels baseball on KCAL 9 is brought to you by your local Lincoln Mercury dealer. Come in and see the full line of Lincolns and Mercuries today. And by KFC. Isn't it time for some really good chicken? Steve Physiak, Jerry Royce with you at the Tropicana Field in St. Petersburg, Florida. And Alan Watson heads back to the hill for his second inning of work. Gave up a 2-run home run to Fred McGriff in the first, and here he goes. He'll face Paul Sorrento, Mike Kelly, and John Flaherty. And Sorrento takes strike 1. Watson's been great when he has kept the ball down and out of the middle of the plate. He gave one right over the heart of the plate to McGriff, and Fred did not miss. Cecil Fielder, meantime, just grounded into a 6-4-3 double play with the bases loaded. And the Angels, this big designated hitter first baseman they acquired in the offseason, continues his slow start in 1998. Sorrento, meantime, 258 this year with a home run. But in his career against left-handers, he is only hitting 212. Watson misses low.
Now we remember him last year in Seattle, and Lou Piniella would sit him against left-handers. Guys like Finley, sometimes against Langston, and even against Watson last year. So Sorrento getting a rare start against a left-hander for a new manager in a new time zone.
And Watson strikes him out. So Allen has good stuff with 3 strikeouts to start this game.
You know, something I've noticed about Watson is watch his delivery from the windup. Watch how he gets that back leg down. He sort of drops and drives as he delivers his pitch. A changeup. Sorrento is way out in front of it, can't stay back on the ball and drive it. We didn't see that when he was pitching from the stretch. It was more of a straight up delivery. Watch that back leg. He'll drop, he'll drive, and look at the location of the pitch.
Strike 1 to Mike Kelly, who had his first major league 2 home run game yesterday in their 12-5 win over the Texas Rangers. Interesting that you say that about Allen Watson. That's up and in, because last year those numbers proved exactly what you're talking about. With no one on base, opponents only hit 260 off of Watson. When a runner was on base, they hit 307. So maybe it has something to do with his stretch. And that ball is smoked to left field, but right at Garrett Anderson for the second out. Well, we talked with the Angels skipper Terry Collins about what he wanted to see from Allen Watson tonight.
Well, I think the key to Allen is certainly keeping the ball down in the strike zone. He's got a good changeup. His fastball is plenty good enough. His breaking ball is good. But what he's been doing right now, he's just making mistakes on the plate into the middle of the strike zone, and that you're going to get hurt, and he's been hurt. If he gives us 7 innings like he's capable of, he's going to keep us in the ball game and give us a chance to win.
And Terry talked about mistakes. He made the one, just the one, middle of the plate to Fred McGriff, a great power hitter, and McGriff did not miss, hitting his 3rd home run this year to make it 3-2. Here's John Flaherty. Watson really charged in with that fastball, 1-1. Flaherty only hitting 205 this year. Thought he might be missed with San Diego. There's a ground ball hit weakly down the first base side. Erstad fumbles, still picks it up, and has time to make the play. And Watson goes tumbling over the bag, but the Angels record the out. We hope Watson is all right. He appears to be. The Angels holding on to a 3-2 lead. Playing some rugged defense. Get out of my way, says John Flaherty.
And now, the Acura Great Performance Sales Event presents the Acura RL, performing to Mozart's Eine kleine Nachtmusik. The Acura Great Performance Sales Event ends May 4th, so hurry in. Lease the elegant Acura RL for $499 a month at your Southern California Acura dealer.
Frank, I'm thinking about moving to another swamp.
Oh, really?
I'm just not comfortable living in a swamp where assassination attempts are taking place. Every loon with a vendetta, every snake with a sinus headache frightens me.
Snap out of it, Louis. Everybody knows it was you.
Oh, Frank, I had no motive. I love Budweiser, and I love the frogs.
Oh, yeah, you're good buddies. I forgot.
Excuse me, if you would remember last summer, I invited them to that barbecue.
Yeah, well, Louis, you wanted to cook them at that barbecue.
But at least I invited them.
Oh.
You wouldn't have invited them at all.
It's Ford Spring Break 98. Remember the sun? Well, it's coming back. El Nino is on the way out, and Ford is celebrating with their very own Spring Break. Great lease deals, special incentives, or APRs as low as 1.9 on the Mustang convertible, the Red Hot ZX2, even the Windstar, and the #1 selling Explorer. It's Ford Spring Break 98 going on right now. With APRs as low as 1.9, even Ford dealers get spring fever.
Presenting Hilton Honors Worldwide. Now Honors members can earn both points and airline miles at more than 400 Hiltons around the world. The best hotel reward program just got better. Hilton Honors Worldwide.
We welcome you back to Tropicana Field in beautiful St. Petersburg, Florida. Indoor facility, brand new. They put $80 million into renovating this facility. And now Phil Nevin comes to the plate, and he hits a rope down that left field line that will hop into the seats. A ground rule double for Phil Nevin. One of the interesting areas, that corner, the way it turns in. It's 315 down the left field line.
Nevin out in front of this pitch a little bit. It's a curveball that hangs, but he hooks it down that line. It's going to grab enough fair territory, so much so that Kelly can't quite catch up with it. But when it hits that hard turf, it bounces over the fence. Kelly puts his arms up. That indicates that the ball's out of play, and Nevin is on with a leadoff double.
Meantime, Dan Carlson, who did not make a mistake at all in that last inning, comes out, gives up a double to Nevin, but nobody's on base. And the Angels have a .246 overall average this year with men in scoring position, and just 160 with 2 outs. Anderson has the count 1-1. Garrett walked his first time up. Garrett sends it to right field. Mike Kelly racing back, and it's up high off the wall. Nevin had to hold up. He wasn't sure if Kelly would come up with the baseball, and now they'll have to still hold Phil at third base as Garrett has a double. Well, Jerome Walton in right field really decoyed Phil Nevin quite well, because I think Phil thought he was going to make the catch.
I thought so too, and I wonder why he didn't go after that ball more aggressively. You see the pitch to Anderson. It's a fastball on the outside part of the plate. He just uses his arms to drive this ball to right field. Walton gives chase, and when he realizes he can't catch the ball, plays it short up against that fence. He was already 2 steps onto that warning track, and usually see right fielders catch that ball back in the field just a bit more. Maybe it was a decoy. It keeps Nevin from scoring. The Angels have runners at second and third as we take a look at Walton.
It's a rare occasion where a base runner only makes 1 base when the batter doubles. Here's Damon Mayshore. Maybe Carlson needs to be in a jam before he pitches well, because he had the bases loaded, nobody outs for the Angels, and he comes up and strikes out Dave Hollins, gets Cecil Fielder to ground into a 6-4-3 double play, and now with nobody on the bases, he gives up back-to-back doubles. The pitch to Mayshore. 1-2. Damon had that RBI single to right field after fouling off several pitches from Wilson Alvarez. Nevin at third base started the inning with a double. Garrett Anderson then doubled off the wall in right. Damon takes it up and in, 2-2.
Tampa Bay has elected to play their infielders back. You've got Stocker and Cairo willing to give up the run for a ground ball. So if you're Mayshore at the plate, you got to look for a pitch that you can hit on the ground at the very least, bring in a run.
Tries to go to right field. It is down the line, and it will drop foul. Well, Damon had the right thought in mind.
Well, he stayed back on this pitch and tried to hit it to right field. And when he realized that the pitch wasn't going to break as sharply as it could, he got under it just a little bit and hit it into the air. Now, if that ball is caught out in right field, Nevin, who has average speed, will still be able to come in and score. So Mayshore is thinking what he has to do in this particular situation to produce a run for the Angels.
You see that? It looks like there's another line in the field. That is not. That is a cable that is holding up the screen behind home plate. That ball comes inside, and I believe he hit Mayshore. Yes, he did. So the Devil Rays have hit 3 Angels in this game. 2 by Alvarez, now 1 by Carlson, and Rothschild's going, golly, it's not like we're throwing at him.
Again, one of the pitchers for Tampa Bay. This time it's Carlson tries to come inside to a Angels hitter, and he hits him. It loads the bases with nobody out. It's deja vu all over again, as the Angels have runners or bases loaded with nobody out. Isn't this where Carlson came in last inning?
And did great pitching, and he gets Paco Martin to swing and miss. Strike 1. Angels scored 3 in the first, left 3 on the bases in the second, and have 3 on again in the third. They've got a great opportunity to break this game open. Martin swings and misses, strike 2. Nevin at third base. Anderson second. Mayshore first. No one out. Tries to dump one to right field again, and it just barely twists foul. So the Angels taking a shot at right field against Dan Carlson as he continues to try and work away. Mayshore almost came up with extra base hit before he was hit on the arm, and now Paco Martin tries to do the same thing and fouls it off.
You're playing pepper with that right field line. They're inching closer to it with each succeeding swing.
Paco again to right field, and this will drop. Nevin comes home to score. The base runners only move up 1, but it is 4-2 Anaheim.
The shortstop,
Paco with a defensive swing, but he did exactly what he needed to do. Just get that runner home from third base. Gives the Angels a little momentum here as they improve their lead to 2.
Carlson tried to come in with another off-speed pitch, perhaps going to the well once too often. He got this pitch up enough for Martin to be able to handle it. Didn't swing very hard, but he drops the ball into right field. And because Walton was charging and you didn't know how long the ball was going to stay up, the Angel runners are only able to advance 1 base. But we'll take it because it puts a run on the board. It keeps the bases loaded. And it's up to DiSarcina to really make this into a big inning.
And he is a tough guy to strike out. Gary DiSarcina will make contact. Now the middle of the infield is looking for the double play. On the corners, they're just on the edge of the grass. Gary takes. It is 1 ball, 1 strike. DiSarcina was one of the hitting stars in Wednesday's win as the Angels were down by a run in the 8th inning, and he tripled past Joe Carter in right to drive in the tying run. Then Erstad went deep. The Angels won by 1. Gary sends it to left field, and that's a base hit. In comes Garrett Anderson. They will hold Mayshore at third. It is 5-2 Angels.
First baseman, number 27, Darren Erstad.
DiSarcina doesn't try to do too much with his pitch. It's a fastball. It's down in the strike zone. DiSarcina keeps the ball in the air. The reason for that, of course, is that if it's caught, you can score a run on a sacrifice fly, but it drops in front of left fielder Kelly, who's able to field it on a bounce. The Angels are playing station to station in the 3rd inning, but they produced a couple of runs.
So DiSarcina comes through. The bottom of the lineup has come through with Martin with a base hit, DiSarcina with a base hit, and both with RBIs. And the Angels pushed the lead back to 3. They started the night with a 3-0 lead in the first inning, but Fred McGriff hit a 2-run home run off Alan Watson in that first. And now the Angels have struck for a pair in the 3rd and can really break it open with a big hit by this kid. Erstad's been on twice. He is singled, and he was hit by a pitch left stranded in the 2nd. Darren with good power, 5 home runs this year, 16 last, and Watson's been given some offensive help. Out off. 1 ball, 1 strike to the Angels first baseman. Terry Collins finally getting some clutch hits, something he did not see in that 2nd inning.
He's breathing a little bit easier too, isn't he?
With 2 clutch hits by Martin and DiSarcina.
You see with his hands around his throat, maybe he's loosening that noose a little bit.
Erstad swings and misses. 1 and 2. It's part of the growth of a young player becoming a veteran player. Swinging at strikes. Erstad, Anderson, they want to do a better job of that. I mean, you watched Tim Salmon earlier this week. He walked 4 times. But that's what the great ones do. Terry Collins was talking about Barry Bonds, what made him a great hitter. And a swing and a miss. A great curveball thrown by Dan Carlson.
Carlson has gone to his breaking pitch to get ahead of Angel hitters. Delivers another one. This time he took something off this pitch when he doubles up on curveballs and has Erstad way out in front. It was a fastball to Martin hit. It was a fastball that DeSarcina hit. Both were base hits that produced runs. So he goes to his off-speed pitch and produces some success. There it is again. Strike one on the outside corner, delivered to Edmonds. Now, I remember Carlson is a pretty hard thrower, but he's gone exclusively to off-speed pitches to get out of jams in this ballgame.
Edmonds takes 1 ball, 1 strike. You're right. That's 4 straight curveballs. Albie Lopez, the former Cleveland Indian, is warming up for the Devil Rays now as the Angels trying to blow this game open. Jim Edmonds has 1 grand slam in his career, and he has the bases loaded here with 1 out. Came opening day 2 years ago. And he sends it to the first baseman. Fred McGriff drops the baseball, comes back to the bag, gets the out there, but scoring from third base is Damon Mayshore, and that is a big run because McGriff may have been able to freeze Mayshore or come home and get him at home plate, but as soon as he dropped the baseball, that situation changed.
That could have been a 3-2-3 double play, but Fred doesn't get his feet in proper position and fielding his ground ball to make that double play. Fields that ball a little bit on his heels, but to his credit, he keeps it in front of him, and he's able to recover in time to pick it up and tag the base for an out. But as a result, the Angels are able to keep the inning alive and produce another run.
And now Dave Hollins, and he is the 4th Angel to be hit by a pitch in this game. I mean, we've seen Erstad hit by a pitch. DeSarcina has been hit by a pitch. Mayshore has been hit by a pitch, and now Dave Hollins. So the 9th Angel will hit in this inning.
Fastball again, and hits just above the right ankle on Hollins. He's wondering what's going on here. Why so many guys getting hit? Why are they pitching inside and missing to that extent?
Well, they've missed badly. I mean, they've been walking people. They've been hitting them. And now Cecil Fielder, and he hits a rope to Bobby Smith, who gets to third base in time. The inning is over, but the Angels too come up with 3 more runs to push their lead to 4 over the Tampa Bay Devil Rays.
Let's crunch some numbers on America's best-selling minivan, Dodge Caravan. Right now, every Caravan comes with remarkably low 1.9 financing, or up to $1,000 cash back. Or on this Caravan, subtract $750 cash back, hit total, and your price is under $17,500, making Caravan America's lowest priced minivan. And imagine what all these savings can do for your bottom line. See the friendly Dodge dealer near you.
Introducing the Sicilian pizza from Pizza Hut. This ain't no ordinary pizza. It's the most intense tasting pizza we've ever made. This ain't pin the tail on the donkey. This is hammer the tail on the donkey with a baseball bat. This is opening a gift from the Pyrotechnic Society. This is oregano, basil, and garlic rolled into a perfectly innocent looking crust and exploding in your face. This is the energized, kick in the teeth mother of all pizzas. The new Sicilian pizza from Pizza Hut for only $8.99. Can you handle it?
Yo, down here. I'm the Brooklyn Bridge. You think you could take me? You want a piece of me, huh? Let's go. You and me. Right now.
The undeniably smooth, ever luxurious ES300. The road is calling. Answer it.
I got your fancy suspension right here.
This promises to be one of the most exciting seasons in Angels history, so get on out to the ballpark. All Anaheim Angels games, individual game tickets are available at the Edison International Field box office, Southern California Ticketmaster locations, or by calling the Angels charge line at 714-663-9000. And you want to get your seats for the next available Angels game. That's the Chicago White Sox and Frank Thomas coming to town. Also, Toronto and Roger Clemens will be coming to Edison International. And don't forget to bring the kids. Got his Devil Rays t-shirt on. He's putting his cap on backwards. Sun's not getting in his eyes, not in here. And Watson ready to go to work. Will face Kevin Stocker, the number 9 hitter, then back to Quentin McCracken and Miguel Cairo. Good changeup by Watson. Strike 2. Allen has given up 2 hits, the single to Cairo and the home run to McGriff. Foul off.
Notice the pacing with Watson when there's nobody on base. He's got a smooth, even pace. He gets the ball, not a whole lot of action. He just gets the ball, looks for his sign, and delivers the next pitch. He's got a nice sequence of pitch. He's mixing his pitches, his fastball, his changeup, and his curveball, and he's locating real well.
Ooh. Well, Alan Watson says, you're going to come inside, so am I. 4 Angels have been hit in this game, so Watson comes in high and tight to Kevin Stocker, and he hits him.
Marty Foster is the home plate umpire. I don't think he's the crew chief, but I think it's just a matter of time before these umpires issue a warning to both benches, because we're getting to a point where it's going to get out of hand.
And then no warning has been issued yet. I have not seen one point to the dugout. Here's Quentin McCracken, second in hits in the American League, also hitting .450 at home.
Quentin McCracken, the name Quentin, you know where that came from? It came from his mother.
I was thinking of Tarantino.
No, not quite, but his mother was a soap opera fanatic right around the time Quentin was born, and her favorite soap opera was Dark Shadows, who had a character on it by the name of Quentin.
Oh, he's a great kid too. Went to Duke, played for Steve Spurrier, and they won the ACC title. And you say, Steve Spurrier, here's a football coach. He was a cornerback on that team, and a very good one. What episode did you watch or listen to?
I didn't do soap operas. I didn't watch them back in the 70s.
It surprises me. You look like kind of a soap opera kind of guy. A leading man.
I'm more of a character out of a soap opera.
You need some soap, I'll tell you that. This is an indoor facility. Stocker at first base, nobody out. 1 ball, 1 strike to McCracken, and he pops it up right field side, racing over Mayshore, and he does not have room.
For a new facility, there's a lot of foul territory in this ballpark. You don't see that in a lot of the ballparks that are being restructured or brought on the scene today. Remember, this ballpark has been here a number of years before they finally used it.
There's that angle in center field. It's only 407 to straightaway center field, and you see the 415 marker as it goes into that Bermuda-like triangle in left center. Right center, you see 409, so 2 feet farther than dead center field. Pitch to McCracken, ground ball. Hollins has it, goes second, 1 on to first, not in time.
Next up, second baseman.
So speed on the base pass, and Quentin McCracken, and he is 4 for 4 stealing bases this year.
It was doubtful that the Angels are going to get a double play on this ground ball because Hollins has to come in on this slow ground ball. He sets his feet. That took a little bit of time. Martin had to catch the ball and then make the exchange from his glove to throw over to first base. But when you have a speedy runner like McCracken, it's doubtful that you'll ever get a double play when it takes that much time.
So now Miguel Cairo steps up, and Watson is going towards first base. We told you he has an excellent pickoff move.
And it's still early in the ball game, so you figure that a guy like McCracken, who's already stole 5 bases, is a threat to steal in order to generate some offense for this Tampa Bay ball club.
Jerry, let's watch Alan Watson. Now he's coming home, and there's a base hit left field. Again pitching from the stretch, and as soon as Watson let it go and the ball was hit through, Allen kind of threw his shoulders back, says, oh man, not again. He has to work away from that mentality. I mean, you watch Jack McDowell, you watch Chuck Findlay, even when they don't have their best stuff, they are battling so hard to keep their club in it.
Well, they're trying
to let the bad stuff go away.
They are two guys who take control of the situation, as the good ones do. You can look at Roger Clemens, you can look at Glavine, you can look at Maddox. Those guys just take control of his situation. If somebody gets a hit, they say, I'll get the next guy. With Allen, it's just like he's waiting for the next shoe to drop.
So very good speed in the base pass. But he is high to the number 3 hitter, Jerome Walton. Walton struck out looking his first time up.
And the location of the pitches have changed again with Watson pitching from the stretch. The pitch for the base hit right over the heart of the plate. That pitch up and out of the strike zone. Again, misses up out of the strike zone as he falls behind 2-0. So Nevin's going to come out and have a little talk with him. I would imagine by this time that Marcel Latchman has talked to Nevin about some of the problems that he's going to see with a variety of the pitchers that the Angels have in their staff. And of course, with Watson, the word is settle him down. Get him to focus back on the situation so he can get out of it. Too often, he lets the situation take control of him.
He has 2 Devil Rays on with 1 out. We're in the 3rd inning. That ball hit in the air, right field. Mayshore has it measured. And tagging is McCracken. He will not go. It's a great throw from Mayshore. Right on the money to Hollins.
A lot of times good base runners will have that false start from the base just to test the arm of the outfielder. But Mayshore got into that ball correctly, caught it properly with his momentum coming forward, and uncorked a pretty good throw.
Well, here's Fred McGriff. If he hits 30 home runs with the Tampa Bay Devil Rays, he will have done it with 4 teams. With Toronto, with San Diego, with Atlanta, and his hometown in Tampa Bay. Pickoff play. Got him! Alan Watson does take control of the situation and picks off Quentin McCracken at second base. A great move.
Playoff fever explodes in L.A. Tuesday at 7:30 on KCAL 9. It's showtime for the Lakers. They're on fire headed to the postseason. Catch all the playoff action as Shaq Daddy, Jones, Van Exel, Fox, and Kobe smoke the rims against Damon Stoudemire, Isaiah Ryder, and the Blazers. Playoff fever sizzles. Lakers, Blazers, Tuesday at 7:30 on KCAL 9.
On an average day, Edison turns on the power for over 11 million people, 5,200 big businesses, 380,000 small businesses, and countless writers. Delivering that power takes the days and nights of 12,057 employees and a century of technology, service, and guts. Think that's a lot? Not when you realize this is what brings Millie's Victorian lovers together. Southern California Edison, the power behind peace of mind.
I know a place.
Americans know how to shop, and we love a bargain. No wonder there's a Chevy Malibu in nearly every neighborhood. It has standard air conditioning, automatic, even ABS brakes, things you won't find standard on Camry or Accord. And Malibu has enough room for all your garage sale treasures. Chevy Malibu, the car you knew America could build.
Right now, you can get 0.9% APR financing on Chevy Malibu, the car you knew America could build.
Well, the Tampa Bay Devil Rays have been absolutely on fire this year, offensively and out of the gate. I mean, the best record by expansion teams after 19 games. You've got Kansas City at 9-10, Toronto at 9-10, Tampa Bay at 11-8. Fred McGriff is one reason why. He's a local guy and a former all-star first baseman who packs plenty of power. So here come the Angels after sending 9 to the plate in the 3rd inning and scoring 3 runs. They have a 6-2 lead, and Phil Nevin will lead things off. Nevin is grounded out and doubled. Phil, did he go around? Yes. He was in the zone anyway.
And if you want to look for reasons as to why Tampa Bay is doing so well, second in the league in hitting, batting .311, third in pitching with an earned run average of 4.21. Carlson pulls off a curveball a little bit. Devin can't do anything with it. And in defense, they're third best in the American League. So when you look at where they are in all the numbers in the American League, you can understand why they have a winning record. Carlson's doing a pretty good job of pitching backwards, isn't he? Using his curveball and fastball situations.
There's the curveball popped up center field. McCracken takes care of it. And Jerry, you were talking about pitching backwards. Because of that, as a hitter, do you go up and think backwards? I mean, do instead, if you guys got a great curveball, think curveball react to fastball?
You know, I don't know on a major league level if you do that. I think you just go up there looking for the ball and try to hit it. Remember Joe Ferguson used to catch for the Dodgers? He once said, if you play with dummies, you got to think like a dummy.
Good line.
So if you think that he's out there going to get you out with a curveball, then you got to look for one.
Phil Nevin will put those tools of ignorance back on. And here's Garrett Anderson, and he rips one foul on the right field side. Strike one to Garrett Anderson. Angels scored 3 in the first and 3 in the third. They have a 6-2 lead as Tampa's only runs coming on Fred McGriff's third home run this year. Garrett takes a strike, and Carlson is getting that bender over tonight.
The reason why he's successful with that curveball, one, he's throwing it for strikes, but also he's changing speeds on it.
And he got Garrett to go out of the strike zone to swing at the last one, and he strikes out.
The right fielder, number 22, David Baker.
Again, a curveball. You see the catcher set up for the pitch in the outside. That's Flaherty. Pitch goes into dirt. Anderson gives it a wave, but he can't do anything with it. So 2 quick outs registered in the 4th inning by Carlson. That's a little show me fastball.
Setting up the curve.
Setting up the curve, showing the batter that you have something else. You try to locate that pitch to set up a location as well. That pitch was just high and over the heart of the plate. Change up, that misses down low, so he's fallen behind 2-0.
And he's a kid who has always had good stuff. San Francisco liked him, but they would always go outside the organization to pick up pitchers, particularly veteran ones. Ground ball past Carlson, scooped by Miguel Cairo, and a 1-2-3 inning for Dan Carlson. Anaheim with a 6-2 lead as we go to the bottom of the 4th here in Tampa.
Hey man, want to know your future? Yeah, sure. I'm gonna need your burger. You're gonna like this. Look at that. Says you're very giving. And you're gonna meet the girl of your dreams. Really? You know what that one means? What? The culture. It means you're gonna be hungry.
If it doesn't get all over the place, it doesn't belong in your face.
I know a place.
Americans know how to shop, and we love a bargain. No wonder there's a Chevy Malibu in nearly every neighborhood. It has standard air conditioning, automatic, even ABS brakes, things you won't find standard on Camry or Accord. And Malibu has enough room for all your garage sale treasures. Chevy Malibu, the car you knew America could build.
Right now, you can get 0.9% APR financing on Chevy Malibu, the car you knew America could build.
Do you believe the world can be a friendlier place? We do. Friendly Serve at Mobile. It's the fastest way to get gas. It's the friendliest place to get gas. And it's just one more way we let you take wing.
I believe I can fly.
Anaheim Angels baseball on KCAL 9 is brought to you by Genuine Chevrolet, the cars more Americans trust. Anaheim has a 6-2 lead. Fred McGriff steps to the plate, and the first time Fred came up was the first inning, and he had a man on base. And Alan Watson threw him a pitch right over the heart of the plate. Mac did not miss. Number 3 this year. That made it 3-2, but the Angels came up with 3 in the third, and they have pushed their lead to 4 now. Fred McGriff last year with 22 home runs for the Atlanta Braves, hit .277. Atlanta wanted to go after Andres Galarraga and let McGriff open to the expansion draft, and he came home. This is where he grew up. He's the only player ever to win a home run title in both leagues, and he goes opposite field here, and this is trouble, and it is up against the wall. So McGriff with a home run and now a double.
You see how important it was to pick off McCracken in last inning. With the way McGriff is hitting the ball, he can break a ball game wide open. With McGriff, the book on him is to keep the ball down and away. Well, what happens when you get the ball up and away? Well, like any other left-handed batter, he becomes a better high ball hitter on that pitch outside. And he deposits it between the left fielder to center fielder. It's a double, 2 hits on the evening for Fred McGriff.
And here is the dangerous rookie Bobby Smith. He came off a great road trip, Jerry, where he hit .440 and really scalded the Anaheim Angels. Great athlete. He's from the Oakland, California area, and Todd Bozeman, who was then the basketball coach at the University of California, wanted him to play basketball and let him play baseball for the Bears as well. But he was drafted by the Atlanta Braves organization, and because of the log jam there with Chipper Jones at third base, never really was able to make it to the big league. So he was Tampa Bay's number 6 in the expansion draft, and after playing in his 6th minor league season and 2nd in Class AAA, he had a rather disappointing 1997. And the general manager, Chuck Lamar, said this kid is really good, but if you don't move the guy to the next level when he deserves it, a guy can get stale. And they thought Bobby Smith got stale last year.
Now imagine the attitude he had.
Crossed up there.
Might have been by the way he caught the ball, but to finish that thought first on Smith, imagine what he thought when he saw that Wade Boggs was going to be playing in front of him. The end of that story. Now back to Nevin and Watson, which is the story of the game right now, is that it looked like Nevin was looking for a changeup. Watson delivered a fastball and it handcuffed Nevin. You have a different set of signs with a runner on second base. Some teams and some pitchers like to change them based on the inning or based on something else other than just the second sign, which is traditional.
Bobby Smith to right field. Damon Mayshore near the warning track makes the catch. McGriff tags and moves to third. He'll be there with just 1 out. So Bobby goes back to the dugout, where he'll be joined by his teammates along with Wade Boggs. Boggs in the disabled list. He could be coming back in a couple of weeks. You just saw Wade give him a tap on the back. That's the way to move the runners along.
Smith got a pitch up in the strike zone, was able to get enough wood on it to drive it to right field. McGriff, not a speedy base runner, was able to tag in advance. You see the Angels defense, they're playing back, really need to exchange the out for the run.
And here's where Watson can go back to his full windup. There is Wade Boggs, who will turn 40 in June. But he can still play. He hit a 3-run home run on opening day here at Tampa Bay, and he's charging towards 3,000 hits. So why should I stop at the age of 40 or 3,000 hits? Pete Rose kept on playing. Just misses.
And you know what motivates you? Remember that picture of Boggs riding a horse after the Angels, or not the Angels, but the Yankees won the World Series? Yeah, that was impressive. You get a taste in your mouth for something like that, you want to do it again.
Way high, 3 balls, no strikes. McGriff at third. Wade Boggs, career average 331 of active players. Only Tony Gwynn, Mike Piazza are higher, but Wade and Gwynn have certainly played more seasons, and Wade with 2,810 hits. In there, 3-1.
You know, if he does go in the Hall of Fame, what uniform would he wear? Boston, New York, Tampa?
I know Boston left a sour taste in his mouth, but 2,000 hits in Boston, that's an incredible number. Good pitch by Watson. 3-2. He struck out Serrano his first time up.
And he did it on the same pitch that you saw on your screen on that particular pitch, a changeup. Watson not giving in to the opposition. Decides not to go with a fastball, goes with a changeup, makes the count full, 3-2.
McGriff at third. He doubled, went to third on the fly ball. Allen not ready to pitch, so he steps off.
I think Nevin saw something, and I think Sorrento's moved up in the batter's box a little bit closer to the pitcher. Trying to take that changeup away from Watson.
See if they go fastball low and away. Nope. Sorrento takes. It's ball 4. So 2 on with 1 out, and Mike Kelly comes to the plate. And Kelly has been on a tear. He lined one sharply, but right at the left fielder, Garrett Anderson, his first time up. But we told you about yesterday, this kid has some kind of power and hit 2 home runs against the Texas Rangers. He was a great player at Arizona State, one of their all-time best. Phil Nevin working with Alan Watson. This is a man they need to get out. Mike Kelly, as the Angels lead by 4 now in the 4th inning. Kelly, an All-American at Arizona State. Hit one of the longest home runs ever at ASU. Ground ball. This could be 2. Martin goes to DeSarcina. And there it is. A 4-6-3 double play. So Watson with a pick off his last inning. Now with a clutch pitch to Mike Kelly here to get the 4-6-3.
Come on, Pete. Better. Throw it home. Mom! Dinner! I'll come in a minute. If you don't come in right now. None of the other moms are coming in. Mom, it's KFC. Gotta go.
This Mother's Day, give Mom more time to play. Bring home 12 pieces of the Colonel's chicken, original recipe, extra tasty, crispy, or tender roast, just $10.99.
If you clean your plate, you can go out after dinner.
Mother's Day, isn't it time for some really good chicken?
I know a place.
Americans know how to shop, and we love a bargain. No wonder there's a Chevy Malibu in nearly every neighborhood. It has standard air conditioning, automatic, even ABS brakes, things you won't find standard on Camry or Accord. And Malibu has enough room for all your garage sale treasures. Chevy Malibu, the car you knew America could build.
Right now, you can get 0.9% APR financing on Chevy Malibu, the car you knew America could build.
Can you picture yourself in paradise? Tonight you can. When Prime 9 News, Sandals, and Air Jamaica give you a chance to fly away in May to the tropical sands of Jamaica. To win a complete trip for 2, watch Prime 9 News' Alan Massengale at 8:45 to get the clues. Then be the 9th correct caller at 9:45. And you can fly away in May to paradise with Sandals, Air Jamaica, and Kickout's Prime 9 News.
When the Angels come home, they'll take on Frank Thomas's Chicago White Sox May 1st, 2nd, 3rd, and 4th. Then the Blue Jays, the 5th and 6th, with the Rocket Roger Clemens coming to town. 4 tickets, 714-663-9000. And they'll have some great giveaways during that homestand. I know they've got Bat Day coming.
Oh, I know you'll be there for that. You don't miss giveaways, do you?
Never. Not
You've
a one. I always say I have to have 2. I'm sorry, I can't take 1. I have to have 2. Because with 2 kids, you come home with 1 item.
You're in trouble.
Big trouble. So come to the ballpark. Make sure you bring your kids, all of them. Here's Norberto Martin. He's 1 for 2 with an RBI single that came in the 3rd when the Angels scored 3 of their 6. Fastball stays high and outside. 1 ball, 1 strike to Martin. He went around. 1-2. Well, how about Tampa Bay finally getting baseball in 1998? This Tropicana Field was built to attract major league teams, and they almost were successful in doing that. The White Sox, Mariners, the Giants. There's a ground ball, base hit up the middle. Martin is 2 for 3.
Shortstop, number 9, Gary DiSarcino.
But finally, after 3 names, I mean, they call this place the Thunderdome during Arena Football League season. After 8 years of tractor pulls, a taste of hockey, and look at how high the foul poles go. Even hang from the ceiling here. See that? Just in case you hit a sound rule double.
The sound rule doubles when you get the speaker. Now that happened earlier this year. It was a sound rule ball.
Wasn't it Frank Thomas?
It was Frank Thomas who hit it. But the ball hit the speaker and landed in the foul territory. They called it then a home run. They said, we got to change the ground rules here. So if it hits the speaker, it depends on where it falls into play. If it falls into fair territory, it's in play. But they needed some kind of gauge because of depth perception. So you have a lot of auxiliary foul poles that hang from the ceiling.
What they should have is one of those, those laser lights like they have in a security system. So if the ball hits the foul pole, the sirens go off and it automatically designates it's a home run. That's in the future.
Okay.
That's at the Luxor in Las Vegas.
Luxor, that's right.
Well, here's Gary DiSarcina with Norberto Martin at first base. Carlson has shown a great curveball in this game, but now he has fallen behind DiSarcina 2-0.
Last time he had a 2-0 count, he came in with a breaking ball to retire a batter. That was Mayshore.
Martin goes. There's a base hit to left. The ball hit so hard that Norberto has to stop at second base. So DiSarcina has been on 3 times now, hit by a pitch. He has singled a drive and run, and now singled again.
How about
the Angels have runners on for Darren Erstad.
Terry Collins finally gets a chance to use his running game. Martin on the hit and run, spots this ball going into left field, but because it was hit directly at the left fielder Kelly, he can only go as far as second.
Well, Rothschild coming out for a visit with Carlson.
Just a slight visit, probably wanting to know why he's using that fastball when he's had so much success with his curveball. Well, maybe it's not that. It's going to have a change of pitchers.
Yeah, I didn't see his lips move. Give me the baseball. Dan Carlson has a 6-2 disadvantage.
On an average day, Edison turns on the power for over 11 million people, 5,200 big businesses, 380,000 small businesses, and countless writers. Delivering that power takes the days and nights of 12,057 employees and a century of technology, service, and guts. Think that's a lot? Not when you realize this is what brings Millie's Victorian lovers together. Southern California Edison, the power behind peace of mind.
Introducing the 24-ounce bottle from Pepsi. It's perfect for a lot of little thirsts. Or one great big thirst.
Uh-oh, not again. Hey, Shaq, thanks a lot.
Sorry. The totally new 24-ounce six-pack only from Pepsi.
Little help, please, buddy.
The Angels battle the Devil Rays tomorrow afternoon at 3:30, and KCAL 9 will be right here to bring you all the action. It is Ken Hill going against Rolando Araujo. He is the gentleman who shut them out on Sunday, but Ken Hill will be going for his 4th win as an Angel. That is live tomorrow, 3:30 in the afternoon, West Coast time, of course. And here's the new pitcher, Albie Lopez, pitching in his 8th game. This guy's got good stuff, Jer.
He had good stuff with Cleveland, the team that preceded his trip here to Tampa Bay. 11 innings, 12 hits, 6 strikeouts, 5 walks. When they look for pitchers, they look for guys who what they refer to as high ceilings, guys that they feel could really go a long way either in both time and in how much improvement they can make. And they felt Lopez was one guy that they could depend on, not only as a reliever, but perhaps a starter in the future. At any rate, he's the 3rd pitcher employed by Tampa Bay this evening.
He's a big guy at 6 feet 2 inches tall and 230 pounds, just 26 years of age. He's got a fastball that he can get up there like 91 miles an hour.
They feel with a little work, some location on that pitch, because it's got good movement, that he'd be a successful pitcher either as a starter or as a reliever.
Well, he has a tough out coming to the plate in Darren Erstad. Erstad has singled, been hit by a pitch. He has struck out, now batting .337. Erstad takes high the curveball from Albie Lopez.
You know, there's an interesting story about Lopez. He was cleaning out his locker in May of 1997, and he found a paycheck that he didn't cash from September of 1996.
What, $20?
$7,800.
$7,800 that he forgot about?
He's sitting in there for nearly 8 months.
There's a chopper. You're kidding me. How do you do that? He was between the minor leagues and the major leagues.
Yeah, but that's half season salary in some cases. $7,800, forgot the cash paycheck.
He must be living right. Well, it's good to see someone who doesn't care about money at all, playing for the love of the game. Here's Erstad, and he takes away 2 balls, 1 strike. If you talk to the scouts you see around Major League Baseball about Albie Lopez, they say, yeah, he's got the 4 good pitches, but he does lack a little confidence and can fall behind, and that's when he creates his own problems. Albie has fallen behind Darren Erstad 2-1. And that ball is ripped to left field and hard and deep, and it is up against the wall. Martin will score easily. They're sending DiSarcina, and he will come home, and the Angels lead 8-2.
The center fielder, number 25, Jim Edmonds.
I told you earlier in this ball game that Erstad is better suited as a number 3 hitter. And the reason why is because he has great power. Not only to right field, but he drives this ball pretty deep to left field. You notice that ball hits off the wall somewhere around 375 feet. And that gives both Angel base runners a chance to come around and score. 2 more RBIs for Erstad and 2 more hits this evening as the Angels are able to extend that lead to 6.
And now Jim Edmonds steps to the plate. So Erstad got those 2 runs home. Now it's Edmonds' turn, and that ball blocked nicely, backhanded by Flaherty, or it goes back to the screen, and Darren's at third. Earlier this year, Erstad had a streak of 9 straight games with extra base hit. I think he was like 5 shy of the American League record, and I think Paul Wainer, that great Hall of Famer, had the Major League record, 14.
And when you have extra base power like that, you can see what I mean, the production that he can have for this ball club in the middle of the lineup. But look what he's done so far in the leadoff position. And if something ain't broke, why fix it?
Well, really, he's the only guy they have who is a capable leadoff guy, a guy who will take pitches, who has speed, and he's still learning to take pitches, to work the count. He said his goal earlier this season was about on-base percentage. He knew that Terry was going to pencil him in as the leadoff man. He wanted to work the count, work the pitcher, allow the hitters behind him to see more pitches, and wanted an on-base percentage of 40. It is near that now.
Well, that's up in rarefied air if you can get on base 40% of the time. You're talking about numbers of guys like Knobloch and Craig Biggio. Tim Raines is another one. Those are guys who are classic type leadoff hitters, guys who can walk, guys who can get on base, steal a base, generate runs.
2 balls, 2 strikes to Jim.
Edmonds swung at that pitch, and you notice that he had to drop the bat because it must feel still a little bit of tenderness in that wrist. He says it doesn't hurt to swing the bat and make contact. It's when he swings at pitches and misses them that he does feel that little bit of pain.
Well, it'll just have to hit everything.
That's a solution.
Albie misses high. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Edmonds, Hollins, Fielder. Hitters 2, 3, and 4 against Lopez. Erstad just knocked in a pair to push the Angels lead to 8-2. Jim chops it to the first base side. Erstad will take third. Edmonds is out quickly at first base. And there is the first out of the 5th inning. But what he did was make sure Erstad was at third base in scoring position. A chance now a ground ball or a fly ball can get the Angels' 9th run home. I like the fact that Jim was trying to pull the ball.
Chance to manufacture another run. Well, Tampa Bay, in an effort to thwart that, is going to pull their infield in. So it's going to be up to Hollins to either hit the ball on the line or up in the air somehow to produce another run this inning.
And Dave would like nothing more than to do that. You may have seen those numbers, 4 for his last 32, and tonight he has struck out twice and been hit by a pitch. 4 Angels have been hit this evening. 1 Tampa Bay Devil Ray. In there, 1 ball, 1 strike.
When a team scores 8 runs and you collect 10 hits and you don't have any, that's the equivalent of coming to a party and asked to sit in the back room and watch everything, isn't it?
2-1. And that's no fun.
You want to be a part of it. Talk about guys who've been a part of the offensive attack. Look at the bottom of the lineup for the Angels. Mayshore, Martin, and DiSarcina. Each of them been on base at least 2 times. DiSarcina all 3 times.
Hollins swings and sends it foul. Dave may need a new bat. And with the infield in, this real, you know, you hear about that it improves a batter's average like by 100 points with the infield in. Well, on this turf, it might be 150, because if you hit one at all, it gets through this AstroTurf so quickly.
There should be some kind of rule on fast AstroTurf that if you play the infield in and there is a step onto the turf, that you should be able to have a shield to knock the ball down. No glove, just a shield.
Hollins sends it to the second baseman. He holds Erstad at third, throws out Dave. That's the only way. You hit it at an angle where you make either Cairo or Stalker have to go into a hole. Erstad's got a chance to score, but one right at that infielder, no chance.
There was a chance that the Devil Rays had to take pulling that infield in, but it works this time as they induce a ground ball, and not a very well hard hit ground ball by Hollins. They're able to get the out and keep Erstad at third.
And here is Big Daddy. He would like to come up with a big hit here. He has left 6 Angels on the base paths in his last 2 at bats, grounding into a double play in the second and also grounding out to end the third with the bases loaded. Erstad at third base, 2 outs now. Up and in comes Lopez. Two and one.
How about that? Another 2-0 curveball. We saw Carlson do it twice. Now we see Albie Lopez do it to Cecil Fielder. Well, he missed with a couple of fastballs. Maybe he felt with the base open. Why not throw him a curveball? Because Fielder was sitting on fastball.
And he got it. And it was in a great location, low and away. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Cecil was trying to pull that fastball. We've seen him a couple of times already this year take a fastball that's on the outside part of the plate and go to right center field with it. In fact, if you think back to the World Series of 1996 against Atlanta, he did that very thing.
And he rips this one. It's off Bobby Smith's hand to Kevin Stalker, and the throw's in time. Cecil thought it was through, but Bobby Smith glanced it off his glove right to the shortstop Kevin Stalker, who skipped it to the first baseman Fred McGriff.
I know a place.
Americans know how to shop, and we love a bargain. No wonder there's a Chevy Malibu in nearly every neighborhood. It has standard air conditioning, automatic, even ABS brakes, things you won't find standard on Camry or Accord. And Malibu has enough room for all your garage sale treasures. Chevy Malibu, the car you knew America could build.
Right now, you can get 0.9% APR financing on Chevy Malibu, the car you knew America could build.
There is a business class seat that tilts as a whole, raising your knees, distributing your weight evenly, and relaxing every part of your body, which makes it oh so easy to drift off. The Club World Cradle Seat. only on British Airways, the world's favorite airline.
Fortune 500 companies know that when it comes to renting a car, National Car Rental gets you in your car and on the road fast. So what are you waiting for? Let's go. National Car Rental.
Welcome back to Tropicana Field in St. Petersburg, Florida. Steve Physiak along with Jerry Royce, and the Angels with the lead 8-2. Cecil Fielder wants to be part of the party, but you said he's hitting the ball hard, but right at people. You tell me a story about Chuck Connors.
Well, he had absolutely no luck at all in that ground ball. Chuck Connors, in his days as a professional ball player, when he played in Montreal, went something like 0 for 30. And in that 0 for 30, he hit a lot of balls right on the nose. Well, one time he hit that line drive, his 4th hard ball in the ball game, and he got down on his knees right by first base, looked up to the sky and says, "Why don't you come down here and fight me like a man?"
Well, it has been one of those evenings for Cecil. He's left 7 on base. He was staring at the heavens then. That ball is hit high in the air to left field. Garrett Anderson, though, under it. Makes the catch for the first out of the 5th inning. And Cecil Fielder, he's thinking the same thing. This is like Chuck Connors.
This is it. Of course, he's got a smile on his face. What does it take to get a base hit?
I mean, he hit that ball hard, so hard that Bobby Smith, it turned his glove out, glanced off the glove to Kevin Stocker, who threw a perfect strike, skipping it off the AstroTurf to get Big Daddy. Now Kevin Stocker, who was hit by a pitch, and it may have been one of those intentional hit by pitches. After 4 Angels were hit, Watson came high and tight to Stocker, hit him on the shoulder, and Stocker did not score, so Watson did his job.
Got to protect your hitters.
There's a strike, run to the outside corner, perfect location at the knees, 2-1. Well, he got that one a little bit too up, but enough on him where Stocker could only foul it off. But Watson does have a good sinking fastball to go with his changeup and his curve. We haven't seen much of his curve tonight.
When he gets his fastball up, it straightens out. Even though it's a pretty good fastball, 88 to 90, it's still very hittable. That pitch was down. Look at the location. The difference in a pitch that's 90 miles an hour that's up, that's fouled off, and when you get that location on the outside corner, you're going to get a result like this. Look at that near perfect pitch right around knee high. Nevins does a good job of framing the pitch, and Watson records a strikeout, his 4th this evening.
But it's like you said, Jerry, and you've said so many times in the past, here's a guy who's got 4 1/3, given up 2 runs, both in the 1st inning, has settled down since. But when he's up like 90 to 91 miles an hour, the ball straightens out. If he's down near 88, he has that little tail to it, little late movement. And you told me in the past, sometimes you have to learn to reach back for something less.
That's right. Less velocity wise, but you get more of a quality pitch because it allows your fingers to finish off the pitch, and you get a natural tail to it. A little bit of natural movement goes a long way as opposed to just sheer velocity. That time he tried to turn that pitch over. You notice his hand, the rotation. Tried to take a little bit off a pitch. Maybe it was a BP-like fastball.
Chuck Finley's had a lot of success against right-handers with that BP fastball that's always low and away, and has confused a lot of right-handed hitters in the American League this year. Great pitch. Martin has it. McCracken is out. And Watson has a 1-2-3 inning, his 2nd in the game. And we go to the 6th with the Angels leading by 6.
Tonight on Prime 9 News.
More and more love affairs go fatally wrong. A KCAL 9 Prime assignment shows you what's being done to stop the rising tide of domestic homicide.
Prime 9 News tonight starting at 8.
We brought crime down to the lowest rates that we've seen in 30 years.
Dan Lundgren, proven California leadership.
Whether it was 3 strikes, whether it was 10-20 life in terms of going after those who would abuse guns, whether it was Megan's Law, we restored the death penalty. Those are the things I'm proudest of.
And there is no reason why we have to accept the level of crime we have today any more there was any reason 4 years ago that we accepted the level of crime then. We've made a difference in this state. We can do so much more.
Chevy Astro, with the most cargo room and the most towing power of any midsize van. And now, with 0.9 APR financing, it's easy to own. The 98 Chevy Astro. Grab the family and test drive one today. Because with all this space, all this power, and an offer like this, now is a great time to drive away in one of your own. Check out this great offer on the Chevy Astro today. Only at your local Chevy dealer.
Tonight at 8, a prime assignment special investigation. A mission of mercy with a merciless ending. Was it a life-saving flight turned deadly that could have been avoided?
People died when they didn't need to.
Prime assignment, tragedy in the skies. Tonight at 8 on KCAL 9.
With the score 8-2, you're watching Anaheim Angels baseball on KCAL 9. Phil Nevin will lead things off in the 6th inning against Albie Lopez, the third pitcher used by Tampa Bay tonight. The Devil Rays came in with a record of 11-8, 2.5 games behind New York for first place in the American League East. Meantime, the Angels are 4 back of Texas in 3rd place, actually tied with Seattle, just percentage points behind the Mariners in the American League West. Phil Nevin with a double in this game, 3 at-bats, and there's a curveball that just misses high, 2-1.
Nevin's been quite a surprise, hasn't he? A third baseman coming out of college, played some outfield in his minor league days. And then it was Terry Collins who made the suggestion to become a catcher. I think he's done a pretty good job, taking great strides.
I think that's where the surprise has been defensively, because this guy can hit. I mean, he has an aggressive, very strong stroke. And he sends that one high in the air to right field, racing over Jerome Walton, and he gets there. So Nevin 1 for 4.
A clean plane, comfortable seat, on-time arrivals, getting your bags back. At Continental, our priorities are simple. They're yours. Continental Airlines. Work hard, fly right.
1 out. Garrett Anderson coming to the plate with Anaheim leading 8-2. Steve Physiak, Jerry Royce with you. And Garrett Anderson is 1 for 2 in the game. He's been on base twice, though. A walk, a double, a run scored. Here's a guy the Angels really need to get hot. He is a .300 hitter. Last year knocked in 92, has only driven in 3 this year, and he is just a flat good hitter. And he rips that one to center field. McCracken with the catch. Garrett just hit it too hard.
He hit it too hard into the wrong field. McCracken got off with that pitch, was able to see exactly where this ball was heading, was able to run it down. Good swing on this pitch by Anderson. Short stroke, but McCracken's there to keep him from getting a base hit.
So 2 quick outs. McCracken, a fine defensive outfield. He has 4 assists this year. And now Damon Mayshore steps to the plate. Damon sees an average at .294. He's been involved today, on base twice, a single to drive in a run hit by a pitch. And he is filling tough shoes in Tim Salmon, who is not on the trip thus far, and the Angels hope to get him back by Tuesday. Mayshore grounds out. Albie Lopez with a solid 6th inning, but the Angels lead by a half dozen.
Honey, I gotta go to work.
To the men and women at Edison, protecting your service from natural disasters is more than just a job.
Don't worry, we'll save Daddy a seat.
It's a commitment that weathers hardship, hard work, and hard choices.
I'm scared.
Yeah, we got lights.
Thank you, Daddy.
Southern California Edison, the power behind peace of mind.
Chevy Astro, with the most cargo room and the most towing power of any midsize van. And now, with 0.9 APR financing, it's easy to own. The 98 Chevy Astro. Grab the family and test drive one today. Because with all this space, all this power, and an offer like this, now is a great time to drive away in one of your own. Check out this great offer on the Chevy Astro today. Only at your local Chevy dealer.
Chevrolet baseball moment. We go back to April April 24th, 1989. The Angels rookie Jim Abbott facing the Baltimore Orioles. Jim would scatter 4 hits over 6 innings to gain his first major league victory. And his friend Brian Harvey would come on late to get the save. But this was a great memory for Jim Abbott, tonight's Chevy baseball moment. He is one great gentleman, Jim Abbott. In 1991, Abbott, Chuck Finley, and Mark Langston formed the only trio of 18-game winning southpaws in the history of Major League Baseball. Well, here is Alan Watson, a left-hander for the Angels, and with an 8-2 lead. Angels have Watson and Finley. Chuck Finley will not go against Tampa Bay in this series. He shut them out last Friday. Chuck will next start against the Baltimore Orioles on Monday, a game you can watch on KCAL 9. It'll be a 4 o'clock start, West Coast time. Here's Miguel Cairo to lead things off. He has a pair of hits, both to left field. And it was interesting, Chuck Finley pitches a marvelous game. Shuts out Tampa Bay. After the contest, the Devil Rays are accusing him of cheating, either loading up the baseball or cutting the baseball. Chuck said, come on, guys. I've been legal all my life. I got him out. Show a little respect. The ball gets away from Watson. But didn't you tell me there was a time Larry Bowa got on you and he was a member of the Phillies, and weren't you with the Dodgers, and you were really getting together with your cut fastball, not cutting the ball, but kind of throwing a little short slider?
No, he accused me of cutting the ball.
I know he
literally cutting the ball. He says your pitches were exploding in 1980. In 1979, we used to send a limo to the airport to make sure you got to the ballpark. Everybody wanted to hit off of you.
Mayshore records the out. Go on, Jerry.
He said, but in 1980, all of a sudden you came up with that cut fastball, and I figured out you were cheating. And I figured out what Bowa was doing what he does best, and that's keeping guys like Schmidt and Lazinski all riled up so that he can just have fun with them on a daily basis. I reminded him of that today. He says, I remember the conversation perfectly. All of a sudden you come up with a cut fastball. Yeah, it was you. You said it. So it's nothing new in baseball when somebody accuses a pitcher who suddenly comes up with a great deal of success of doing something illegal. Nobody was accusing me of anything when I had those losing seasons.
I know, isn't it? They never give you credit. He's doing something illegal. How did he get me out? Jerome Walton tonight has struck out, and he has flied to right. They've had him in the number 3 spot the last 2 games, and because the Devil Rays exploded for 16 hits yesterday and 12 runs, they penciled Jerome back in there, and he sends one past Darren Erstad sharply for a base hit. So Walton is on, and here comes trouble. Fred McGriff. He has hit a 2-run home run tonight, deep to right field, and double to left off Alan Watson. Watson and McGriff now, Jerry, have faced each other 30 times. This will be their 30th time, and McGriff only has 5 hits, but 4 of them have been home runs.
The conclusion, of course, is that when Watson's good, he's very good. But when he makes a mistake, he pays for it.
There's a ground ball, looks like to Martin de Sarcina, and there it is. 4-6-3 out of the inning. Nicely done by Watson. He says, I finally got the ground ball out from McGriff. Well, he's got a 6-run lead.
The new Lincolns are in town. Take a look. Lincolns are changing the way people see luxury. There have never been any other cars quite like them. And even with the long list of improvements and irresistible new designs, one thing is certain, they're still 100% Lincoln. What a luxury car should be.
Introducing the 24-ounce bottle from Pepsi. It's perfect for a lot of little thirsts. Or great big thirst.
Uh-oh, not again. Hey, Shaq, thanks a lot.
Sorry.
The totally new 24-ounce six-pack, only from Pepsi.
A little help, please, buddy.
It's Toyota's Street Smart Savings Event. Lease a new Camry, the best-selling car in America, for just $209 a month. Get the best deal on the road today for only $209. But hurry, Toyota's Street Smart Savings Event ends April 30th. So see your Toyota dealer today.
Bring your group out to Edison International Field for exciting Anaheim Angels baseball. Affordable group entertainment means a whole lot of fun. Call the Anaheim Angels Group Sales Department at 714-940-2074. And here at Tropicana Field, they have the beach, they have grouper ticket sales. They should go out and get all the fish, but then the Angels would lose Tim Salmon. That can't happen.
Steve Trout could have started for him.
Yep. Who else? Kevin Bass.
Yeah.
Ground ball, base hit for Norberto Martin. He has 3 hits on the night. Dizzy Trout, Steve Trout's dad, could have played.
6 hits from the bottom 3 batters in the Angels lineup. Here's one of the guys who's been on base 3 times this evening. That's DiSarcina. A long look at Larry Boa down the third base line. The Angels with a 6-run lead. It'd be interesting to see if they put the runner in motion. DiSarcina excellent at making contact. Doesn't strike out very much. Another long look. Let's watch Boa go through those signs. Usually there's an indicator and then there's something that closes the signs.
Strike to DiSarcina. 1 ball, 1 strike. The Angels leadoff man has reached base in 5 of 7 innings tonight, and it has paid off to the tune of 8 runs as the Angels scored 3 in the first, 3 in the third, and 2 in the fifth. DiSarcina takes low and outside. 2 balls and 1 strike. Terry Collins sent Martin last time he was on first base and DiSarcina was at the plate, and Gary slapped a base hit so sharply to left field that Norberto could only reach second base and stay there.
2-1 count. Usually that's a count that managers like to hit and run with.
And it's hit right back at Lopez. Martin will make second base. DiSarcina is out. If Alvey comes up with it, he's got a nice 1-6-3 double play. Instead, he's got to face Erstad with a man in scoring position.
This ball's hit pretty hard. Remember, anything coming off that turf is going to be tough. You see where he caught that ball. I don't think he caught that ball with his glove. I think he caught it with his right hand. And that's going to cause the trainer and Larry Rothschild to come out of the dugout to take a look. Yeah, he's trying to get that feeling back into those fingers. So he'll probably throw a pitch or two to see if he's okay.
Maybe that's what he needs to throw strikes. Do you see what Ivan Rodriguez is doing with that bad thumb of his? He's hitting .443. Let's check out how the Texas Rangers are doing in the American League West. And the Texas Rangers are down to Kansas City 2-1 in the 3rd inning. They lead the Angels by 4. Then you have Seattle later on tonight. Boston beating Cleveland 7-4 in the 8th inning. New York ahead of Detroit in the 5th. Toronto leading Chicago, and Oakland blasting Baltimore 8-0. That's where the Angels will go after this 3-game series with Tampa Bay.
How about those Red Sox?
Unbelievable.
Great 9th inning heroics, leading by 3 as they've in the 8th right now.
If they win, they'll be 15-6. New York loses, then Boston will have first place to themselves in the East. Pitch to Erstad is low ball 1. Texas, of course, starting the night with a 13-6 record in the American League West. They lost yesterday to Tampa Bay rather badly, 12-5. Erstad takes the curveball, 1 ball, 1 strike. Martin singled to start the inning. DeSarcina grounded out. Two and 1. Tampa Bay has put together a solid rotation of Wilson Alvarez, Tony Saunders, Rolando Araujo, Dennis Springer, the former Angel. But Alvarez, their best, not fare well tonight. And Erstad takes another good curveball from Alvi Lopez. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Erstad tries to slap it to left field, and it is pulled down by Mike Kelly. Martin races back to second.
Those were quick hands. I'm talking about Erstad. He hesitated before he swung the bat, decided that this pitch was hittable. It was up, might have been called a ball had he taken it, but yet he had quick enough hands and a short enough stroke to drive this ball to left field. Watch this. Kind of hesitates a little bit, but he gets his top hand over and hits this ball back in the strike zone. It's curving toward the foul line, but look at Kelly. Has pretty good speed, is able to run this ball down.
So 2 outs now for Jim Edmonds. And Jim takes just off the plate, ball 1. It's awfully important for the Angels without their hitting star Tim Salmon to have a good offensive night. They have an 8-2 lead here in the 7th inning. And Alan Watson has been pitching well. Edmonds hits a ground ball to the second baseman Miguel Cairo. The inning is over, and we head to the bottom of the 7th inning. Anaheim has an 8-2 lead on Tampa Bay.
If you believe it's not just where you're going in life, it's how you get there. Get to the California Chrysler and Plymouth event. Right now, get $750 cash back on the lowest priced minivan, Plymouth Voyager. Choose any minivan and get 1.9% APR. There's Plymouth Neon for just $198 a month, or get $1,500 cash back. Get to the California Chrysler and Plymouth event at your California Chrysler and Plymouth dealer. Hurry, this event ends soon.
You picture yourself in paradise? Tonight you can. When Prime 9 News, Sandals, and Air Jamaica give you a chance to fly away in May to the tropical sands of Jamaica. To win a complete trip for 2, watch Prime 9 News' Alan Mazengale at 8:45 to get the clues. Then be the 9th correct caller at 9:45. And you can fly away in May to paradise with Sandals, Air Jamaica, and KCAL's Prime 9 News.
The Toyota dealers of Southern California present Toyota Scores every day. The Angels' Darren Erstad contributes on and off the field.
Over the next 4 years, I'm going to be donating money to renovate Little League fields across Southern California. Kids in baseball are very important to me, and I couldn't think of a better way to help out than this.
Toyota Scores every day, and you can too. Watch KCAL 9 for your chance to win tickets to an upcoming game. And compliments of Toyota, you can win 4 Angels tickets to an upcoming game. Tune into 1110 KRLA at 7 a.m. Monday morning and identify Darren Erstad as tonight's featured player, and you can score 4 Angels tickets. But he took $200,000 of his salary, signed a 4-year deal with the Angels in the offseason, and said, I want this to go to Little League fields because, you know, I had coaches who helped me out in North Dakota growing up. And I think it's great because in South Orange County, where I live, my son plays Little League baseball, and you see the improvements the fields have made because of contributions by the Angels and by their first baseman, Darren Erstad. Angels have really gotten involved in those areas. I think it's wonderful what Troy Percival has done. He has Percy's Perch in left field, where he donates tickets for youth in Orange County. Tim Salmon has the same in right field. They've got great support groups out there. They love them. Dave Hollins, look at this. Great play.
Hollins has had a tough night at the plate, but he has not let this affect him in the field. This is a hard hit ball headed toward left field. Could be a base hit, but look at Hollins. He dives for the ball, comes up with it. Boy, this is a perfect way to see that first step quickness. 1, 2, 3, 4 steps, a dive. He comes up with the ball, measures his steps, gets in position to throw, does so, and gets a quick out for Alan Watson.
And Alan Watson has barely thrown over 70 pitches, like 11 per inning, and he has 2 quick outs here in the 7th. Alan has never thrown a complete game for the Angels, so with the amount of pitches that he's thrown tonight, he could be gunning in that direction at a most needed time.
In line for his first victory of the season. He's just thrown 72 pitches. At the start of the ball game, Terry Collins told both of us that all he would hope to get from Watson tonight would have been just 7 innings. Here's Hollins again, picks this one up, snow cone, fires over to Erstad, who pulls it out of the dirt. Before you can say another word, we've got 3 up and 3 down.
Take it to commercial, Jerry. 8-2 Angels.
Our most powerful computers use trillions and trillions of ones and zeros to extract 200 horsepower from just 2.7 liters of aluminum to balance the equation of driving comfort and driving exhilaration, to create abundant space within a slippery cab-forward shape. Then, with just 3 digits, we made it affordable. The new Dodge Intrepid. 34 trillion bytes to build it. $289 a month to lease it.
If you're gonna eat a juicy new Carl's Jr. charbroiled sirloin steak sandwich, be careful. It's a jungle out there. If it doesn't get all over the place, it doesn't belong in your face.
It's Toyota's Street Smart Savings Event. Lease a new Tacoma for just $149 a month. Or buy a Tacoma and choose $1,000 cash back or a special low APR. This Tacoma is loaded with an incredible value package. Toyota's Street Smart Savings Event ends April 30th. So see your Toyota dealer today.
Guests on Angels baseball will receive a gift from Ricardo of Beverly Hills. Anaheim with an 8-2 lead on the Devil Rays in the top of the 8th inning. And the Angels bullpen, they're just having fun. I mean, Watson has been so strong, has barely pitched 75 pitches. They're having fun. Is that Mick Billmeyer?
Of course it is. You know he's in the central figure in telling a story down there. He's got everybody's attention.
One of the great storytellers.
What in the world
He's
is
like
he?
Casey.
Oh, he is.
Casey in the pen. Well, Tampa Bay will change pitchers once again. Eddie Galliard. And the Angels will send to the plate Dave Hollins, Cecil Fielder, and Phil Nevin. Well, Jerry, what can you tell us about this right-hander?
More than probably what you could, because you had nothing. He's made 2 appearances since his recall from AAA Durham. That's the Durham Bulls. And he made his debut last Tuesday. He got Juan Gonzalez to fly to center with the bases loaded and 2 outs. So rather memorable beginning in his major league career.
That's enough, Jerry. No, they like his potential. He does have a good fastball and has a slider, and he lines one sharply. Dave Hollins will He's got to be proud of his defense, but he has been snake bit at the plate. Yeah, he struck out a couple of times with some right-hander and a left-hander. Alvarez throwing some nasty pitches, and when he does hit it on the button, well, he may be going back in there and pulling the Chuck Connors.
Remember once Bill Buckner, he was so upset with himself he fired a helmet to the floor. It came back and hit him on the bridge of the nose, and they said that was the last time they ever threw a helmet. Usually when guys like that, guys who wear their emotions on their sleeves, guys like Hollins, when they come back after making a tough out like that, you want to be at the other end of the dugout.
There was one player from the St. Louis Cardinals I heard years ago who was in a terrible slump and was just hitting ropes at everybody. When he finally hit his last rope at a third baseman, walked in the dugout, picked up the whole bucket of ice, and just dumped it on his head, trying to wash away the evil spirits. There's a pop-up by Fielder, taken care of by Cairo, and 2 outs in the 8th inning. This is a weird game where you can just take a horrible swing and get a broken base hit, and then you hit the ball right on the nose like Cecil Fielder did his last time up, and Dave Hollins did to start this inning, and you've got an out.
But veteran ball players know that those balls will drop in sometime during the course of 162 games.
Here's Phil Nevin. Breaking ball misses. 2 balls and no strike. Tampa Bay will have their 8, 9, and 1 hitters coming to the plate when Alan Watson toes the rubber to start the bottom of this inning. Evan grounded out his first time up, doubled to second, fly to center, and just missed hitting it out in the 6th inning. Just missed his pitch. Flips that one foul out of play.
Just missed his pitch again, didn't he? Fastball a little bit middle end. Couldn't quite get the head out in time.
He has 3 home runs this year. He had 9 all last year, and I would imagine he will be the starting pitcher tomorrow when the Angels take on Rolando Araujo, because Ken Hill is pitching. And when Nevin has caught for Ken Hill, well, Hill's won 3 games, but he's hit a home run in 3 of Ken's games. Ball sent in the air, center field. Quentin McCracken making a long run. He gets there for a 1-2-3 8th inning. So the Angels are out in the 8th. They take a 6-run lead to the bottom of the inning.
It's Toyota's Street Smart Savings Event. Lease a new Corolla for just $189 a month. Corolla's an incredible value. Or buy a Corolla, get a special low APR, and make no monthly payments for 90 days. Toyota's Street Smart Savings Event ends April 30th. So see your Toyota dealer today.
On an average day, Edison turns on the power for over 11 million people, 5,200 big businesses, 380,000 small businesses, and countless writers. Delivering that power takes the days and nights of 12,057 employees and a century of technology, service, and guts. Think that's a lot? Not when you realize this is what brings Millie's Victorian lovers together. Southern California Edison, the power behind peace of mind.
It's Ford Spring Break 98. Remember the sun? Well, it's coming back. El Nino is on the way out, and Ford is celebrating with their very own Spring Break. Greatly steals, special incentives, or APRs as low as 1.9 on the Mustang convertible, the Red Hot ZX2, even the Windstar, and the #1 selling Explorer. It's Ford Spring Break 98 going on right now. With APRs as low as 1.9, even Ford dealers get spring fever.
Every night at 10:45, KCAL 9 is the place to be for all the sports action. It's the final quarter, a complete look at the day in sports. Join Alan Massengale tonight at 10:45 for the final quarter, only on KCAL 9, LA's sports leader. Steve Physiak Jerry Royce with you as the Angels have an 8-2 lead on the Devil Rays. 11 hits for Anaheim, just 5. And for Alan Watson, he has barely pitched 75 tosses tonight. Only 2 Devil Rays have advanced past first base since the first inning when Fred McGriff hit a home run off Allen. One he picked off. The other he induced to ground into a double play. There's a line sharply hit to right field, but Damon Mayshore looked like he had to pull that one out of the lights. Makes the catch. He's been a very capable replacement for Tim Salmon tonight as the Angels right fielder at home, and probably working out a lot with Vic Harmon, who's the Angels therapist. Probably has that electrical treatment. No idea how it works, but they do the ice and then the electric. Tim may need the electrical shock. But here's a guy who's a veteran, who's developed into the team leader. He's the player rep. He is the heart of the team, and you know, very well loved by his teammates. I mean, you never hear. I mean, I think the last discouraging word anyone heard from Tim Salmon was when he ripped the net boy on that ESPN promo. Did he get him good? But how long can you take that? Terry Collins was saying, you know, if he's gone for 4 or 5 days, I think the club can hold together. But 2 weeks, that's losing the heart of your lineup for a long time.
Well, a lot of times teams can rally on emotion. And you get the emotion of the guy who's supposed to be the heart of your order not available. Well, you can use that as a rallying cry, but it's tough to keep that emotion going for an extended period of time. But if you have to do it, then somebody else has to step forward.
Like Big Daddy.
I think everybody would like to see him come along. And he will.
There's a broken bat. Little looper to Martin. Takes a weird hop and safe at first base on the infield hit. So Kevin Stocker is on after Flaherty flied out.
Look at Billy Hatcher, the first base coach. He's telling him a grown man hit that ball. But he got a base hit.
There you go.
And we talk about how hard that Hollins hit the ball, how hard Fielder hit the ball. You just saw a broken bat bloop infield single. That shows you how easy fortunes can change.
I know we've talked about that in the past, but I remember the days when he was with the Seattle Pilots then. Wasn't Tommy Davis a member of the Pilots late in his career?
Might have been. He played for a lot of teams.
And he's down in Houston. No, he was a member for the Houston Astros. And there's something on the field, so a little pause in the action here, which allows me to elaborate on this story.
Please do.
And the general manager hands him back a list of all of the broken bat and bloop base hits that he has. So it all evened out, and Tommy didn't get the raise he wanted. Oh, the contract negotiations. I wonder what goes on in arbitration.
It's all computer printouts. Try to make the best case you possibly can and present it to the arbitrator, and he's got to choose one figure or the other. He can't choose any middle ground. That's always been a bone of contention for both sides.
And here's a kid who has a chance to have a really terrific season. I mean, he finally got away from that great outfield. There's a ground ball past Watson to Desar, and look at that play. Barehanded, he throws out McCracken by a half step.
We hear so much about Derek Jeter or Nomar Garcia-Parra, but you don't hear enough about the guys like DeSarcina who can make plays like that. Now, McCracken's as fast a runner as you're going to find coming out of the box. DeSarcina barehands it and with one step is able to fire a strike over to Erstad and make that play look easy. Nobody appreciates that more than a pitching staff. You got a guy like that who can turn what could have been an infield hit and the start of a big inning into an out. You have a great appreciation for the talents.
There is no question. He was such an important defensive reason. The Angels won 2 games against Baltimore at Anaheim. That ball hit sharply down the right field line for a strike. And what happened was on Monday, he turns an unbelievable double play, just diving into the hole and flipping, and they could have scored 2 runs, ended a rally. And then on Wednesday again, makes a beautiful play to hold the game close, where Baltimore may break the game open. Then he hits the triple to tie the game. Erstad hits the home run, and the Angels, instead of being unhappy where they lose 2 out of 3, they win 2 out of 3 from the team that had more wins in the American League than any other, Baltimore, with 98 last year. It's the little things. And when you're not hitting, if you're throwing strikes and catching the baseball, you can wait for the bats to come around.
And you stay close and you give your offense a chance. And the Angels have the kind of offense potential where one swing of the bat could put a couple of runs on the board, or they can manufacture a couple of runs. But the pitching and the defense have to keep them close.
And because of DiSarcina, the Angels keep the lead at 8-2, and Alan Watson has not given up a run since the first inning.
Tonight on Prime 9 News.
More and more love affairs go fatally wrong. A KCAL 9 Prime assignment shows you what's being done to stop the rising tide of domestic homicide.
Prime 9 News tonight starting at 8. Tonight at 8, a Prime assignment special investigation. A mission of mercy with a merciless ending. Was it a life-saving flight turned deadly that could have been avoided?
People died when they didn't need to.
Prime assignment. Tragedy in the skies. Tonight at 8 on KCAL 9.
During Buick's spring celebration, choose 1.9 APR GMAC financing. That's over $2,100 average finance savings. Or there's terrific GMAC leases. But hurry, spring celebration ends soon.
Troy Aikman is back to pass. He's looking, look out. Oh, Aikman goes down.
He had a man wide open. What was he thinking?
Brute, it's all part of the game.
All right, guys, same play.
Do you believe man was meant to fly? We do.
I believe I can fly. I believe I can touch the sky. I think about it every night and day. Spread my wings and fly away.
Mobile, where everything we do lets you take wing.
I believe I can fly.
Well, Alan Watson has a chance at his first complete game as an Anaheim Angel. He's gone 8 innings, and we start the 9th inning with Watson giving up through 8, just 6 hits, 2 in the first inning, and that's when he gave up his only runs on the Fred McGriff 2-run homer. 1 walk, 4 strikeouts, and it almost seems like the last 4 innings he has really felt comfortable, been in a great rhythm.
A great rhythm. He's been able to utilize his pitches and throw strikes. But he's sitting next to Chuck Finley, a guy who knows what it's like to be in the complete game arena. They're talking about how he feels. What do you think about it? You know, 8 innings, you got a lead right here. Go for that complete game. Absolutely.
And Garrett Anderson steps to the plate. Ramon Tatis is the pitcher. He's gone 2 2/3 innings this year and given up 9 earned runs in 8 games this season. Well, Tatis just a kid. And here's a guy they did not even expect to make the major league roster, but was very impressive in the spring. Tries to send one on the outside corner to Garrett Anderson. Anderson tonight has walked, doubled, struck out, and hit the ball as sharply as you can, but right at the center fielder Quentin McCracken. And he breaks his bat, tries to loop it to right field, and he will drop it for a hit. So he hits one right on the screws his last time up, breaks a bat. This occasion he earned the hit because of the way he swung the bat his last AB.
They say they're supposed to even out, and depending on the player, they'll tell you they do not even out. This time Anderson does get jammed and drops his ball between 3 defenders. They don't even out, but in this case, in this rare occasion, an isolated incident, it does.
Here's Damon Mayshore. Mayshore with a single to drive in a run, hit by a pitch, scored a run, grounded out twice to second base. Fouled it off. He got one up, but maybe above the hitting zone. Tatis just 25 years of age. He'll turn 25 actually on May 2nd. Throws Mayshore a strike. Reeves and Tatis made the team. Was he's the only left-hander in the bullpen, and they needed somebody to get left-handers out. Oh, they almost hit Mayshore. That would have been the 5th batter hit by a Tampa Bay pitcher in this game. Alvarez hit 2. Damon to right field and deep and gone. Mayshore saying, well, if Tim Salmon's not here, I better hit like him. And he goes deep for the first time as an Anaheim Angel. And the Angels have a 10-2 lead on Tampa Bay.
That was not a home run swing. That looked more or less like a swing that a guy has trying to hit behind the base runner. Mayshore does have some home run power as evidence on this pitch. One time with the location, fastball out over the plate, below the belt. It's a line drive, but it has some carry on it as it finds its way into the Tampa Bay bullpen. 2-run shot by Mayshore, and the Angels have blown this game wide open, leading 10-2.
Here is Norberto Martin. And Martin sends one to left field, racing on Mike Kelly. He'll make the catch. Martin is the first out of this 9th inning, and Gary DiSarcina will come to the plate.
Shortstop number 9, Gary DiSarcina.
You know, this ballpark, you're getting an idea of how easy it is to go yard in it. I mean, what is that now? 25 home runs have been hit this year in just 9 home games. They've been averaging 13 runs per game, and there's a line out to the first baseman. So DiSarcina is out for just the 2nd time in this game after Gary got on his first 3 times. And Mayshore talking with Rod Carew, his hitting instructor. Well, he's earned some more playing time.
It's opportunity, and you take advantage of that opportunity. Big smile on his face, a little bit of embarrassment. I didn't try to hit the ball out. It's just one of those things that happen. But you take what you can get. You know, in talking about how well the ball carries here, Larry Rothschild, while throwing batting practice early in the season, stopped after about 15 or 20 pitches. And at that point, it was determined that this is going to be a hitter's ballpark because he saw the way that the ball seemed to carry. And he said, when I talked to him about it before the ball game, he said, you know, we're only in April. Let's see what it's like when it gets a little more humid in here, when it gets a little hotter, and we get more fans in here, because these are all different elements that are going to affect the carry of the baseball. But so far, the early returns is that this ball carries, particularly in right field.
And the Angels came out at 2 o'clock this afternoon for early batting practice, and they could not believe the way the ball was carrying here. And you wonder what it's going to be like in June and July. And you know, it's an air-conditioned facility, but they say the top of the facility gets rather hot, and the humidity does build in here, and that allows the ball to carry more.
It's a good point. And I think that's what Larry was alluding to.
The outside corner. 2-2 to Darren Erstad. Anderson started the inning by singling to right field. Mayshore hit a home run to right. Martin and DiSarcina hit it sharply right at the Devil Rays for the last 2 outs. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Erstad with a single double. He's been hit by a pitch. He struck out, and he's lined out to left. Watson will try and go for a complete game by coming out for the 9th inning. He has been marvelous since the 1st. And Darren holds up. That's the one thing he wanted to do, and he is close to his goal of a 40 on-base percentage. He's gotten out 4 times, and he's up past 390 right now. And compliments of Toyota, you can win 4 Angels tickets to an upcoming game. Tune into 1110 KRLA at 7 a.m. Monday morning and identify Darren Erstad as tonight's featured player, and you can score 4 Angels tickets. Now Jim Edmonds steps to the plate. He's been involved with a double to drive in a run. His ground out drove in another. Edmonds now with 12 RBIs this year. And a strike on the outside corner, 1-1. Anaheim with a comfortable 10-2 lead. Ken Hill will go tomorrow. And on Sunday, Jack McDowell is fouled off. And that is a pretty good look for the Angels. Yes, they'll be going up against some talented pitchers for Tampa Bay, but to have Hill and McDowell, 2 of your big guns, going against a ball club that really embarrassed the Angels last weekend, an expansion team coming to town and taking 3 out of 4. Good pitch by Tatis, and he strikes out Jimmy. The Angels, though, score 2 on Damon Mayshore's first home run as an Angel, deep to right field. It's 10-2 Anaheim.
SUVs are selling fast. Now it's easy to get a tough RAV4, or lease a rugged Land Cruiser, or own a powerful 4Runner. So grab your SUV with a low down payment and a low APR at your Toyota dealer today.
Introducing the Sicilian pizza from Pizza Hut. This ain't no ordinary pizza. It's the most intense tasting pizza we've ever made. This ain't pin the tail on the donkey. This is hammer the tail on the donkey with a baseball bat. This is opening a gift from the Pyrotechnic Society. This is oregano, basil, and garlic rolled into a perfectly innocent-looking crust and exploding in your face. This is the energized, kick-in-the-teeth mother of all pizzas. The new Sicilian pizza from Pizza Hut for only $8.99. Can you handle it?
And now, for a little FaceTime with the future of the luxury car. There have never been any other cars in the world quite like the new Lincolns. Today, and especially tomorrow. Lincoln, what a luxury car should be.
Angel tickets are available at the Edison Field box office and Ticketmaster locations, or you can call that number 714-663-9000. Some great games coming your way. Alan Watson gives up a leadoff base hit to Jerome Walton to start the 9th inning. Angels with an 8-2 lead. Alan Watson had a chance at a complete game last year. On June 28th, Angels faced the Seattle Mariners, and I thought Watson threw his best game last season against Seattle. And that's a monster lineup. It was at the Kingdome. But I think we're starting to think about getting a shutout. It was 6-0 at the time. And the Angels had to go to the bullpen to bail them out, but they won 6-1. Now Fred McGriff. And Waddy goes away down and low. Great pitch and strike 1.
That is the location where you have to pitch Fred McGriff, whether you're a right-hander or a left-hander. He stands off the plate, but he does go into the pitch, and the only weakness he seems to have is low and away.
And there is strike 2.
So 2 quick strikes to McGriff, and he can have things his own way. James Holtz, right-handed, left-hander, double barrel action for the Angels down in their bullpen if Watson needs it.
Watson has been sharp since the first when he gave up the 2-run home run to this man, Fred McGriff. Tried to get him to chase the change in the outside corner, could not. It's 1-2. Well, McGriff is homered. He is doubled, but in his last at bat against Allen, he had this situation similar. Got him to bounce into a 4-6-3 double play. Outside corner, strike 3, and McGriff He was not sure.
And he's still not sure because that pitch just got the corner. But that's the only place you have to pitch it. One more look at this pitch. That gets the outside corner. It had the elevation. Nevin framed it perfectly. And he becomes a strikeout victim. Number 5 on the evening for Alan Watson. So McGriff got him the first time, and it's Watson who finishes up strong against McGriff in the final time they face each other in this ballgame.
So Bobby Smith steps to the plate, having a 0 for 3 hung on him after turning a terrific game yesterday with a home run and a double, single in their win over the Texas Rangers. That ball hit sharply down the right field line. That's a fair ball. Racing around to third. Let's see if they send him. No, they will hold the man there as Bobby Smith comes up with a double to right. So now Watson will face the left-handed swinging Paul Sorrento with 31 home runs last year for the Seattle Mariners. Not re-signed by Seattle. They went after David Segui, a switch-hitting first baseman, and Sorrento comes to Tampa Bay.
This is the first trouble Watson has had in this ball game since the first inning.
Ground ball. They'll get the out at first. Scoring from third is Jerome Walton to make it a 10-3 game. Watson will take that. Says, hey, one more out, complete game, and more importantly, a win for the Angels, back to 500 as Anaheim started the night with a record of 9-10 and 4 games off the Texas Rangers pace.
And something a bit more important for Alan Watson is that this gives him a chance with a cushion to work himself out of a jam pitching from the stretch. He's pitched much more aggressively from the stretch in the 9th inning, more so than any time we've seen him this year. Good changeup. So why not let him go out there with his cushion, work, get that complete game. It can be a huge step toward correcting the ills that follow Watson early in the season. Look at that. You can tell by his body language. He smells victory. You like to see that aggressiveness in the starting pitching.
They'll appeal, but the first base umpire, Larry Young, says he did not go around, so the count evens at 1 ball, 1 strike. Rangers probably saying, well, now let's get Jason Dixon going. He will start against the Baltimore Orioles next week, but the Angels did not want Chuck Finley off the rhythm that he has put himself in, and also Ken Hill and Jack McDowell. They had a day off, so they will skip Jason Dixon's turn because of the day off yesterday and go with Watson, Hill, McDowell, Finley, and then back to Jason Dixon next week. Meantime, the Texas Rangers are losing 8-3 to the Kansas City Royals. The Royals have been playing good baseball of late. Again, Watson trying to get him to chase on the outside corner. It's 3-1 now to Mike Kelly. Watson with a 7-run lead. Up the fastball right by him. Fouled back 3-2. Location may have been down the middle, but
it was down the middle. But something interesting about this, that is the aggressiveness that you want to see from a guy like Watson. That's the aggressiveness we see from Finley, from Hill, and from McDowell that we don't see often enough. He came right after him. It was a fastball situation, 3-1, and he challenged him with it.
Ground ball third. Dave Hollins up with it. The Angels have defended beautifully tonight, and Alan Watson gets his first complete game as an Angel. Darren Erstad fielding beautifully, digging a couple out of the dirt. Dave Hollins with some spectacular defense, and Gary DiSarcina was outstanding as well. But Watson gets the gold star as he threw 101 pitches tonight and knocks off the Devil Rays 10-3 with his first complete game as a Halo. We'll come right back.
Over 100 years ago, the first football helmet was introduced. Then came the batting helmet. Almost 30 years later, the hockey helmet. And now the world's first automotive head protection system. designed to help protect the driver and front seat passenger during side impact collisions. After all, shouldn't you be as protected on the road as an athlete is on the field? See the only automotive head protection system at your Southern California BMW Center.
Carl Malone. Mailman. It's been a long time. Whoa! Mailman! You grew hair.
That's right. Couldn't have done it without my Rogaine.
The new Rogaine Extra Strength for Men. It's concentrated. It gets more to the root to grow 45% more hair than the original.
Nice rebound. Carl, sign my Rogaine?
The new Rogaine. 45% more hair.
It delivers for me.
Playoff fever explodes in L.A. Tuesday at 7:30 on KCAL 9. It's showtime for the Lakers. They're on fire headed to the postseason. Catch all the playoff action as Shaq Daddy, Jones, Van Exel, Fox, and Kobe smoke the rims against Damon Stoudemire, Isaiah Ryder, and the Blazers. Playoff fever sizzles. Lakers, Blazers, Tuesday at 7:30 on KCAL 9.
Rolling with a Ram Tough Magnum motor, get a new Dodge Ram or a new Dakota. The new Dodge.
We've given Dodge Ram, ranked most appealing full-size pickup, some very appealing prices. You can lease one for just $229 a month, or you can buy for under $17,700. But either way, this Ram is loaded, including air at no extra charge. Still don't think you can afford a Dodge Ram? Please, go refigure.
The new Dodge.
Anaheim Angels baseball on KCAL 9 is brought to you by Edison International, the power behind peace of mind. By your Southern California Ford dealers. See your Ford dealer today. And by Carl's Jr. If it doesn't get all over the place, it doesn't belong in your face. And we welcome you back to Tropicana Field in St. Petersburg, Florida, where the Anaheim Angels beat the Tampa Bay Devil Rays. The final score 10-3. Alan Watson wins his first of the year. And Steve Physiak along with Jerry Royce, and a fellow left-hander I know enjoys seeing that relief, that big burden taken off another lefty, and Alan Watson had that burden lifted tonight.
That he did. He did it with style. He did it with a complete game, but it wasn't easy for Watson because he struggled in that first inning. He has those first inning problems, but he was able to get past it tonight, and that was a two-run homer by McGriff. But a good middle part of the ball game for Watson. They kept him in there, a low pitch count, and he had a chance to get that first complete game.
And I think Terry Collins has to feel good with Tim Salmon not with the ball club at home, still suffering from that left foot problem, to get this kind of offense from Damon Mayshore and the rest of the club.
Well, especially the bottom three guys in the batting order. 7 hits by Mayshore and Martin and DiSarcina. When you get that kind of production from numbers 7, 8, and 9, you know that good things are going to happen for your ball club. Somebody had to step forward for the Angels, and we had a lot of heroes tonight.
Yes, they did, but it starts with Alan Watson. It goes back to that philosophy you talk about all the time. The Angels know they have the hitting. It will come around. But throwing strikes and catching the baseball, the Angels defended very well this evening.
Well, let's talk first about throwing strikes with Alan Watson. He's aggressive when he pitches from the windup. He struggles just a little bit when he pitches from the stretch. But let's take a look at what he does later in the ballgame when he has a chance to even to score against Fred McGriff. Looking to set up on that outside corner. Look at Watson, that good fastball. He challenges him with a fastball, gets that strike 3 call, and it's a measure of revenge, but it was also a stepping stone, I think, for Watson, because now he's on the winning side of things, and when you put him together with the top 3 in this pitching rotation, we could be as good as anybody you find in the American League.
I mean, you talk about pitching aggressively, something Watson was not doing earlier. I liked your comment late in the game when he had the 3-1 count, went right down the middle. He's got a 7-run lead to work with. Let's get these guys out. Let them get themselves out rather than walk.
Well, when you have a 7-run lead, you don't try to be cute. You just go after the hitter. You're trying to look for an out. So you see exactly what you're made of, what you got later in the ball game. This is rare territory for Watson going into the 9th inning, but he showed that he has the mettle to pitch to the 9th inning and beyond.
So Watson gets the Angels off to a strong start on this road trip, and tomorrow they'll send a 3-game winner in Ken Hill against Rolando Araujo, who shut them out on Sunday. Alan Watson with a complete game. We'll come right back to close our show.
A month ago, my son Charlie drew a family portrait. I was the one on the couch.
That's when I started taking Ginsana, a natural supplement. Ginsana every day gives me energy that lasts. Clinical proof says the pure ginseng in Ginsana helps my body use oxygen better to keep my natural energy going. All I know is I can feel it. And with more energy to go around, there's more of me to go around.
Find the energy. Feel your Ginsana.
You give up? Never! Chevy Astro, with the most cargo room and the most towing power of any midsize van. And now, with 0.9 APR financing, it's easy to own. The 98 Chevy Astro. Grab the family and test drive one today. Because with all this space, all this power, and an offer like this, now is a great time to drive away in one of your own. Check out this great offer on the Chevy Astro today. Only at your local Chevy dealer.
Come on, Pete. Better. Throw it home! Mom! Dinner! I'll come in a minute. If you don't come in right now. None of the other moms are coming in. It's KFC! Gotta go.
This Mother's Day, give Mom more time to play. Bring home 12 pieces of the Colonel's chicken, original recipe, extra tasty, crispy, or tender roast, just $10.99.
If you clean your plate, you can go out after dinner.
Mother's Day. Isn't it time for some really good chicken?
Anaheim beats Tampa Bay 10-3. Damon Mayshore hits his first home run as an Angel, and Alan Watson gets his first win of 1998. Tonight's power play of the game is brought to you by Edison International. We go back to the 7th inning when Dave Holland just turns a great defensive play, Jerry.
You know, we've talked about pitching, we've talked about the offense, but you can't get victories unless you have that great defense. We saw that great play by Hollins, and it was a tough choice for us. Holland's play or D. Sarcina's play. So 2 good defensive plays, and it turned very well for the Angels.
And with the victory tonight, the Angels are now 3.5 games behind first place Texas, but Texas is getting bombed. They're down 10-3 to the Kansas City Royals. It is still April. I mean, it is still early, and you were talking about the Angels rotation with Watson throwing well, with Jason Dixon throwing the way he is capable of, might have the finest rotation in the West.
Well, it has a potential, at least coming out of spring training, and we saw the way that Chuck Finley has pitched. Hill has won a couple of ball games. You know Jack McDowell's going to come along. And with a complete game by Watson, now you've got 4 guys in the fold with a win, and it's just a matter of time for Dixon, who won 13 ball games last year, your 5th starter this year, to produce. And you have guys who can go out there day after day and give you solid efforts. You know that you're going to have a ball club that's going to finish in the hunt.
And Jerry, very quickly back to the defense. You were talking about the left side of the infield. D. Sarcina and Holland, spectacular tonight. The entire season, 2 errors, 1 by DSAR, 1 by Hollins. That is great work.
It's outstanding work, but it begins with those guys catching the ball, and then on the other side, it's Darren Erstad. Remember this, he's only had 1 full year in this league as a first baseman. Already he's pulling balls out of dirt. He's making plays that you see guys who are veterans have just started to make. So you've got an infield that's going to give you solid defense, and that can only help that solid starting rotation.
So the Angels with a great start, get the win tonight, 10-3. Ken Hill goes tomorrow, and I know you like the way he's been pitching.
I do like the way he's been pitching. He's been aggressive, and he showed that at the end of last season, but he carried it with him over the winter and in spring training. So let's look for a solid effort from Hill tomorrow, and it'll be a time for the Angels to exact a little revenge as Tampa Bay took 3 of 4 back at Edison International.
No question. 3-1 is the record for Ken Hill. The final score here tonight is 10-3 as the Angels beat the Tampa Bay Devil Rays in the first of this 3-game series. That will do it. Again, the final score, Anaheim 10 and Tampa Bay 3. Our next telecast on KCAL 9 will be tomorrow, April 25th at 3:30 as the Angels face the Devil Rays in the 2nd game of this 3-game series. I'm Steve Fiziak for my partner Jerry Royce, plus our production staff of Chuck McKean, Jamie Weimer, Mitch Reinhardt, and Olaf Barr, as well as our fabulous director, Michael Ireland. Good night, everyone. This has been a presentation of KCAL 9 Sports, LA's sports leader.